Hello and welcome to Words of Win, the once weekly podcast in which we get together and discuss Game of Thrones. Today we are doing, whatever the fuck, Eastwatch, Season 7, Episode 5, yeah. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Chris.
What's up?
Hi. Anthony.
Hey.
Hello. And James.
Woohoo!
Hi. When you said woohoo, that made me think that DuckTales is back. Did anybody else watch DuckTales?
I did a bit.
Is the new one out?
Oh, yeah. A woohoo! First episode happened the other day. I was very excited.
I'll check that out.
A woo! Is what I immediately thought of. Right. Anyways, guys, this is spoiler heavy. We're going to be discussing the episode at length. There is many spoilers, so beware of that.
There will actually probably be spoilers for the remaining 2 episodes as well. So if we jump into those, we'll probably give an additional spoiler tag so you can...
we'll let you know.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this motherfucker. So, first scene is Bronn and Jaime. Bronn pulling him out of the water.
Yeah.
So, immediately, I'm like, they're like a half mile or at least a quarter mile away from the battle, it looks like. I don't know how long you can hold your breath and swim for, but there must have been a hella current pushing them downriver.
I mean, judging by Jaime's armor, look like Bronn dragged his ass through the silt.
Bronn is Bronn of the Blackwater. Maybe he's not named after that because of Blackwater Bay battle. It's because he just swims like a motherfucker. He's just a fish. He's the Michael Phelps of Westeros.
He outswims Euron and Victorian ships.
Yeah, he's like, "Arr!" That's how people are teleporting around. He just throws them on their back and he just brings them.
Just go.
I ain't never seen nobody put his team on his back like he do. Yeah, so that was my immediate. I was just like, oh, this is gonna be a rough one. So then he yanks him ashore or whatever. Jaime's not even like unconscious or anything like that. He's still like he's like.
Yeah.
He's just fine, you know. I don't. That makes no fucking sense, but whatever.
I'm sure they.
I wonder if his fake hand's
above.
hollow. Because if it is, it's probably sloshy now.
Well, that's the thing is in the books, I want to say it's a solid gold hand.
That's expensive.
Like
It probably
They're
weighs a
Lannisters.
freaking ton.
That was my argument that I was saying to Bogart whenever we were discussing it last time he was up here. I was just like, that thing has to weigh 487 pounds. Like that thing, like I'm not sure if you've ever held a big chunk of gold, but like it's a heavy metal.
Yeah. It is not quite as heavy as lead,
No.
but it's close.
It's very heavy, so it's just like, yeah.
Matt,
it'd
have
be
you held a
intense.
big chunk of gold?
Yes,
Is it because you're so money?
it is because I'm so money. I am so currency.
He's
I'm
so
all
currency.
kinds of schmeckles, baby.
Yeah.
All kind. But yeah, pulls him.
I will endorse it if we go so currency.
Yeah, I am so currency.
Gotcha.
Anyways,
I can endorse that.
He yanks him ashore, and they have their little back and forth. Everybody loved this back and forth because Bronn called Jaime a cunt.
I didn't care for it.
A lot of people were like, "Oh my god, I wish Jaime would be called a cunt more." And I'm like, "Why?" Jaime's like a pretty good dude. Like,
Yeah.
he fucks his sister, and like he pushed Brandon out of a window one time, but for the most part, he's a pretty alright guy.
Everything
Like,
else has been.
That's
fairly
literally those are the 2 shittiest things about him. Literally everything else is just like upstanding, straight dude, like just fucking.
Like even if you go all the way back to season 1, like him trying to fight Ned in the street, like
he wanted to do it by himself.
he wanted to do it by himself. The second like one of his soldiers like stabbed Ned in the back of the leg, he was like, "Motherfucker, don't."
Yeah, wow, knocked
Yeah,
that motherfucker.
knocked him the fuck out.
out, yeah. Which means Jaime was a knockout before he got the golden hand. Imagine the power now that he had a golden hand. He could just fucking wreck fools.
I hate that they did that with it. They
Instead
should
of
have just
a
given him a
fist.
goddamn fist.
I think they should give him a hook. A hook is infinitely more practical.
You should be like
And
the dude on How to
intimidating.
Train Your Dragon. It ratchets on and off, and he just has interchangeable accessories. He's got
Yeah.
a hook, a fist, a fuck you finger.
I mean, all of a sudden they were able to make a fucking wheelchair, so obviously they're advancing in technology in some ways. Why not give him a hook hand?
Qyburn's got to help the motherfucker out somehow.
You know what I'm saying?
Good old pirate fister.
I mean, the
Get
discussion...
one where his fingers are like this, and it vibrates a little bit. You know. Maybe then Cersei will quit being such a bitch.
ribbed. It's ribbed, you know what I mean?
I can just see it now, though, like a candle-powered, like heat-powered little motor that's just sitting there.
Coal-powered fister. It's on a piston. Man, what's that for? Punching people?
Yeah,
Sure.
I will say this: one of the exchanges that I was a real big fan of was the whole like him saying, "Is like the dragons don't get to kill you, you don't get to kill you, I get to kill you."
Right. Like,
That's the only part I really liked about it.
Like, I thought it was a fine little back and forth, but people were losing their mind on the internet, of course.
I mean, I didn't particularly care for it. It was kind of funny, but I mean,
to be fair,
take it or leave it.
everybody loses their mind about everything on the internet.
Yeah.
Literally every single thing. But like, yeah, Braun.
Prior to actually one of these.
I did like Braun being like, this is where it ends. Like, I'm not fighting a fucking dragon. Like,
Dragons are where it ends.
I wouldn't fight the mountain for Tyrion. I'm not fighting a dragon for you. Give me what you owe, and let's say our farewells. So I enjoyed that quite a bit. That's really all I had to say about that scene. Tyrion walking the battlefield before Dany rallies up everybody. What the fuck did he expect? Like,
Yep, it's burnt.
And I understand it's supposed to be like a big thing. I'm gonna turn the volume on my phone, not my computer down because it keeps making noise.
Okay.
But anyway, so like, what did he expect? Like, I understand it's supposed to be like this thing because it's his people and the destruction of the dragons. He's never seen something like that before, and oh my god! But it's like, what the fuck did you expect? You've heard the stories. You know the history of the Seven Kingdoms. You know how dangerous these dragons are. Like,
In fact, in the books, he was reading a book about dragons.
yeah. So
And the history of dragons.
So it's
and all the fucked up shit you can do with dragons.
yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like I understand like the storytelling aspect of like, oh my god, but you knew what you were getting into, you little fuck.
To me, and I'll definitely get more into this later as we get more scenes with Tyrion that are coming up, but to me, the way I read into it was him maybe having second thoughts about Daenerys.
Yeah.
I think that's what this
that's
whole
I
episode's
took-
kind of set up, trying
Yeah.
to set up.
Yeah.
Especially with the Varys scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and I can understand that, like, from a storytelling aspect, especially since how I would really like to see him and Jaime like settle their score and be buds.
Yeah.
Because I like those two together. But yeah, it's just one of those things, man, where it's like these dragons are basically nukes. Like, that's what they're an allegory for in the story. They're nuclear weapons. Like, what did you expect was going to happen when somebody releases a massive nuke? I get, like, you can feel that he still thinks he's the best person to advise her because at least he's counseling against the use of these things as hard as he can. But
it's like he's trying to justify in his head, like, if I weren't trying to temper this, it'd be a lot worse.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like we get that a little bit later on with Varys, where he's like,
You're not the one doing it.
no, where he's like, she'll never be her father as long as she has good counsel or whatever.
Yeah.
From here, we go into the Dany Drogon scene with the Tarleys. I very much liked that Randall Tarley refused to be intimidated by the dragon.
I did like that.
Even when the dragon roars, he's just stoic, doesn't blink, doesn't bat an eye. I appreciate that because that's very true to his character, you know what I mean?
Like, I didn't get a lot of background with
Dickon
that
was
character.
an idiot.
Yeah.
Dickon was an idiot.
I don't have a lot of background
Dicking
with
around.
the Tarleys because I'm sure they're fleshed out infinitely more.
He's not Dick on anymore. He's Crouton.
Well, he's Duston.
Yeah.
That's his name, Duston. Dude, that was
Ashton.
great.
Gaston.
Ashton.
No
Ashton.
one fights like Gaston, no one, Bubba. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, I'm sure they got a lot more character development. But even with the little character development I got out of the Tarleys in this, I could see just in that one scene, that man's a hard ass. I wouldn't want to fuck with him.
That's kind of his whole deal. The other thing that I find interesting is that
He's
Randall,
historically a hard ass, actually.
Yeah.
You
Randall,
never get a reference to Randall Tarley, and there's not some sort of reference to how hard ass he is.
yeah. So Randall Tarley, one of the things I do like is that you know who the heir of Horn Hill now is?
Sam.
Sam, which is the one thing Randall Tarley was trying to avoid, was him being his heir and him getting the sword.
Now-
Sam is now both.
Now, technically, and I was actually reading up on a kind of a side theory on this. Technically, where Sam is still within the Night's Watch, he's forgone all
Yeah, so
claims.
it'd be
so it
her
would technically
daughter.
go no.
Daughter.
Technically, would it not go to Little Sam?
No, because
No.
it's not a biological son of Sam.
Here's the thing, though. After the War for the Dawn, as long as Sam's still alive, the Night's Watch will effectively end because there's no more need for them.
Either that or Jon will release him from his vows. If Kingsguard can be released from their vows by order of a king, and bastards can be made legitimate, I don't see why a Night's Watch.
He can easily be like, all right,
relief.
You fulfilled your duty. Fuck off to Hornhill and actually Highgarden because you're now the warden of the
Yeah,
Reach.
that's what I expect to happen.
Yeah.
Is for him to be named ruler of the Reach. Because next to the Tyrells, the next house that you'd probably go to are the Tarleys, and Sam is kind of last Tarley.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that a little bit later. I have a lot of theories about how things are going to go down at the end of this. But I thought it was fine. I saw a lot of argument on the internet being like, this is a humane way to kill people. I was like, I don't think
Did you
Jewish...
see him squirming
I don't
there
think
for a
Jews will agree with that, but
Here's the thing.
I'm allowed to say it.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, I know I'd rather have Dragonfire than beheading. Because Dragonfire is fucking quick.
Oh,
Beheading
squirmed for a
also
minute.
fucking quick, but there's probably going to be that few seconds before your head actually dies.
But that's the thing, is I don't feel like it is that quick.
It ashed him in seconds.
Yeah, but that's bullshit.
Yeah, but you also watched
That
him
particular
run around
Dragonfire I'd rather have.
for a minute.
But that,
Those are probably just incidental burns, like not being directly in the line of fire.
But we saw people
Well, no,
get
that
hit
was
directly in the
during-
last episode, and they all...
Well, during that burning of the Tarleys, they were... Or Tyrells, or whatever they are.
Yeah, Tarleys.
Yeah. And also, here's the thing: with like beheading via guillotine, or even with swift sword strike, you ever heard of the decapitated head screaming? We heard the Tarleys scream.
Yeah. So
I'd still rather go with the fire.
I wouldn't. Like, I
arrow
don't
to the
understand.
eyeball.
It's also
the
a more
argument.
metal way to go for me.
I just like I could understand that, but I don't understand the argument of like it's a humane way to kill people by melting them alive in their armor. Like, like that's not a humane way to kill things. I heard some people were like, man, they were only probably feeling it for like 3 seconds, and it's just like.
Yeah, but that 3 seconds is the worst 3 seconds
Exactly.
of your existence.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, once all your nerve endings are
sheer
burnt off, you don't feel
agony.
anything.
Still, it's like
Kind
I'd
of. a
rather
thing to
just
certain
take like an
degrees.
arrow to the eyeball or something. It's like straight through.
No, I'm going to take the Dragonfire.
Okay.
Fucking metal.
I mean, I'm not saying like no one has done fucked up shit, because any person that's been killed by a direwolf has probably gone through some shit. Greywind used to literally tear people apart on the battlefield. He wouldn't go straight for the neck. He would fuck around with them a little bit. So I'm not saying like this is like crazy fucked up, but I am saying like that made me so mad. Like people on the internet being like, "Oh, this is a super humane way to kill people." Oh yeah, that's why we burn things that we're trying to kill humanely. This dog is very sick. Should we put it to sleep? I have a flamethrower.
Listen, if I have to pick a way to go, there's 3 ways. One of them's too long and convoluted for me to go into on recording. I would take Dragonfire, and the final one would be Firing Squad with a bandana and cigarette and a witty French remark.
I would die. I don't know. But yeah, so that was just something that annoyed me about that thing.
I
Is
thought this through.
the internet just being like, no, it's completely okay and humane.
To be fair, they did pick it, though.
What?
Well, they didn't pick method of execution. They picked
Yeah.
execution.
Well, they
They
picked execution, knowing what the execution would be.
They picked refusal to bend the knee to
Bend
who
the
they
knee.
consider a false ruler.
A foreign invader.
Exactly.
I mean, I'd have just. If that were the case, I'd have just run for Daenerys and just see if one of the Dothraki would cut you down, because you'd be too close for Drogon to try to burn you and her.
I would have ran at her covered in
Yeah.
fire. The Dothraki aren't coming after what happened to all the calls. All that bullshit that happened last season. The Dothraki would be like, fuck that, we ain't going near this fire. And then I'm just going to fucking grab Dany by the throat and just fucking...
But here's the thing, though. As they've already established in the show, she's immune to fire.
That's why I'd grab her by the throat, you see.
Yeah.
It takes a while to choke somebody. It doesn't take very long to squeeze their windpipe and break it so they can't fucking recover. Let's see you breathe when you got no throat. She's not immune to impact, as far as we know, based off the fact that her fucking brother was smacking the shit out of her.
She's in fact got a 30% resistance.
That seemed to hurt her a pretty good amount. She's apparently resistant to all forms of wind, though, because she's fucking tumbling on the back of this dragon. She just fucking stays on
No
it.
gear.
And then she, later in the episode, she flies back to Dragonstone on the dragon. And, like, she's on the back of the dragon, and her makeup's all still good, and her hair's exactly in place. It hasn't moved an inch. It's like horse shit. That thing's flying at 90 miles an hour. You got nothing. You ever been in a car going 40 with the top down? You're done.
See what
Your hair's
happens?
fucked.
What happened was before they crossed the little bit of the narrow sea to Dragonstone,
She stopped.
they stopped off in the Stormland so she could fix all her shit. And so
Yeah,
there's nobody there.
Because she's trying to keep it tight for John.
Yeah, and there's no one there, so it's safe.
She's trying to keep it tight for old Johnny Boy.
Or Jorah, or both.
Well, she didn't know Jorah was coming yet. Good, I said coming.
She looked like she got a little wet for Jorah.
That's all I have to say about that particular scene with Dany and Drogon. Anybody have anything else they want to add?
I didn't give a fuck about it.
They haven't spent enough time with Randall Tarley for me to really care. Like, I think, like, Randall Tarley's cool, dude. I'm like, that guy's a fucking savage. But it's whatever. And then Dickon got dickened, you know. Which is fine.
Dicking him down.
And then yet again, this just compounds on what I've already said about Tyrion. Tyrion's just like, you're kind of being a dick here. I don't know how I feel about this.
No,
She did raise a valid point. I gave him a choice.
Yeah.
It's not much of a choice.
I mean,
In my mind, it's like another thing I had a problem with this was put him in chains, you know, take him prisoner. I didn't come to put people in chains.
she's the breaker chain.
She's equating slavery to being a prisoner of war. Those aren't the same thing. Especially since how you choose how to treat your prisoners. So in my mind, she's just like, nah, I'd treat them as slaves if I had them in chains, baby. That's how I do it. I can't control myself. I want to get dickened by this Dickon because he's not Jorah, and I'll fuck anybody that isn't Jorah. So, those aren't the same thing. And if she can't grasp that core concept that slavery and prisoners of war aren't the same thing, then she is mentally retarded. She's obviously been kicked in the head by one of her dragons.
It was Viserys.
Listen, they make jokes about blondes being dumb. Well, from here we go Jaime Cersei. The first interaction when Jaime's coming back from the fire. Yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was Jaime. I like the fact that Jaime is the only character that's really seeing everything through a logical filter. He's just like, we can't fucking do shit, bro. The only thing I didn't like is him being like, I saw the Dothraki fight. There's no army I've ever seen could stand against them. Unsullied could stand against them. If you just did what the Unsullied did, you could also stand against them. You didn't lose
Fuck
because
ton of spears, shields, and a fouling that you can't break.
you
Fuck
didn't
it.
lose because you were fighting the Dothraki. You lost because there was a dragon that broke your line immediately. Like, that's why you lost. We know for a fact that the Dothraki can be repelled.
And yeah, in fact, with that massive shield wall they had going on, had the dragon not been there, probably would have lost quite a bit of the Dothraki.
Yeah, that's what the Unsullied did. They just made their shield wall with their spears, and that they broke a Khalasar of 5 million Dothraki. 50,000 Unsullied did. And that's what they did. It ended with the Dothraki, all the remaining living Dothraki coming and cutting their braids off and dropping them at the feet of the Unsullied.
Had to be a lot of fucking hair in that pile.
Yeah.
You got 100-1 KDR right now.
You can make a hella blanket out of it.
Yeah.
That'd be disgusting.
The dude that owns all
Blanket
those.
made of the hair of the defeated Dothraki. Ew.
Yours for 25 schmeckers.
Listen, a hair blanket's weird already. Hair
Hold on.
blanket from the Dothraki. I doubt they bathe very often. That's gonna
Here's the
smell
thing.
like
Here's
shit.
the thing. Fucking Dothraki greased their hair in rendered animal fats.
There you go.
So
That's what I'm saying.
that's got to be a gross ass hair pile.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
A greasy hair pile.
They just burned it all. It just caught immediately. Almost burned down the city. They had to get the Unsullied to start carrying water. You are now the fire department of our great city. All right.
It's easier than the other thing. Fuck it.
But yeah, so the Jaime Cersei scene, I mean, it was fine.
Yeah,
I
whatever.
had no strong opinions about it either way. Like I said, I was annoyed by that.
For me, this
a little
entire
bit.
episode was entirely meh.
Right.
There wasn't really anything that pissed me off. I didn't really have anything I liked.
There was plenty that pissed me off, as always, because that's apparently my shtick. Is I hate everything, and everything sucks,
And you're so currency.
and I'm so fucking currency, baby. Anything anybody else wants to add about this scene? This scene, not much happened. It was just talking.
Jamie has baby. Or what's the-
that's-
No, that's the
Well,
next one.
John
fuck it then.
and Drogon. John was able to pet Drogon. Oh my god, I'm so shocked. It hasn't already been confirmed multiple times that he's a Targaryen. Ooh. And it's not.
Anthony raised a valid
And it is
point.
confirmed multiple times to this episode.
Anthony raised a valid point. It looked like that Drogon was basically made out of toasted marshmallow.
Yeah, because he starts to pet him and it's just like squishing around.
Yeah, it doesn't. Anytime somebody's actually physically interacting, the dragons look great until somebody's interacting with them. Because that was my complaint last episode. Was like anytime Dany's like moving on the dragon, it looks so goddamn fake, dude. It's the same thing here, where like he looks fine, and the second John's like petting him in a very sensual fashion.
It's a very
here's the
scaly
thing.
waterbed.
Here's the thing. Is it really that much more expensive than CGI to make a practical effect head and neck of that damn thing for him to interact with?
Well, I watched the extended stuff for Dany last episode, and they made her like this massive, crazy mechanical bull that looks like the back of Drogon. And like they set up like wind turbines and stuff like
So
that.
they did give a practical effect. They just didn't
Kind
feel
of.
like using it enough.
So and then they made like this wind turbine, all right? And then they've made a program that both these things run on, where they pre-render the scene and the movement of Drogon, program the mechanical bull thing to move the same way, and program the wind to blow on her and the way the wind would be blowing on her in that particular moment.
So towards her
And
face.
it's like, how many millions of dollars did that cost?
that was the entire season's budget.
Like you didn't need it. You could have literally put her in on a saddle with 4 fucking people moving it back and forth. And I wouldn't notice a fucking thing. It still looked like shit. You wasted so much money. And let me tell you
Weren't these
something.
episodes
I know
supposed
I
to be
wasted
longer?
money. Yeah, and I know waste money because I'm so currency. But like. But yeah, these episodes were supposed to be an hour long. That's their way of saying like, oh well, I know we're only doing 7, but they're gonna be a full hour each. But no, each one of them's like 47 minutes with all the pre and post shit removed.
I could have swore they were supposed to be longer because I'm pretty sure Game of Thrones
Yeah,
has
that's what I'm
historically been
saying.
about an hour.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They said that they were going to be an hour.
I thought they were
long
going to be longer
episodes.
than that.
No, I only ever heard an hour. They're going to be a full hour, full solid hour every episode without any other bullshit. But then they were like,
Episode 4 was 54 minutes from beginning of the credits to the end of the credits.
was that the one that leaked?
Yes.
Are you sure about that? Because
Yes.
the title says 47 minutes. The title card that came on before it.
It said 54 when we finished it, when we were watching it on HBO.
Yeah, but you have to remember that it has like the leaked version or whatever had like the bumper thing, like the weird bumper thing, where it ran for like 5 minutes like that. If you watch the leak,
I didn't watch the leak.
I watched
We
the leak,
it on
and
HBO. I watched it on
yeah,
HBO.
I watched the leak, and there's a title card at the beginning of it that says like the production name of the thing and
Yeah.
blah 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 blah, and then it said 47 minutes in some odd
It
seconds.
doesn't fucking matter.
It really doesn't matter, but like,
time.
but the thing is that yeah, they're basically lying because what I'm almost certain of is 5 people are getting paid $1.1 million an episode. That is Lena Headey, Nikolai, Peter Dinklage, Kit Harington, and Amelia.
yeah.
They're all getting paid $1.1 million an episode. So if you cut off 2 episodes at the end, then that saves you a fuck ton of money because you don't have to pay those guys $1.1 million for 3 more episodes.
Yeah.
They have the same budget as they had when
That's
they made a
15
10
million.
Yeah, they have the same budget as they had when they made a 10 episode season, which was $10 million an episode. So inherently, half your budget per episode is immediately spent on those 5 actors. So they don't have the budget to make things longer. That's just those guys, those main actors. You also have Sophie and Macy and Littlefinger and Varys and blah blah. All these other fuckers that are probably also making several $100,000 an episode. So
That's probably why that battle didn't have a lot of archers or effective military units in any way.
And that started this season, and I feel like that's why we haven't had like a big Battle of the Bastards type battle with most of these battles, and why we've skipped over so much of this content is because they don't have the fucking budget for it. That's honestly what I think's the problem. And then, of course, their CGI budget is massive because they got to fucking do these fucking dragons, and then they got to do the White Walkers.
Every
and
episode.
the White Walkers and the fucking the Whites, and that's why we haven't seen Ghost all season.
You know,
Which the thing with Ghost is he would be cheaper than most of the things because he's actually a dog.
Yeah, he's an actual wolf.
Yeah, and he's the runt of the litter, so they don't have to scale him up.
So it's one of those things. So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's. They say a bunch of other.
You don't
reasons.
have to pay a dog either.
Yeah.
So like,
They say a bunch of other reasons. You do have to pay the
you
handlers.
have to
though.
pay the handlers,
Well,
yeah.
But like,
doesn't Kit own that dog though? Oh, he's not one of the ones that actually.
no, I think it's Sophie and I think it's Bran or Rickon's actor. It's one of the younger dudes.
Okay.
But I know for a fact that Sophie Turner owns hers. What was I saying though? So like they say it's for a bunch of other fucking reasons why they shorten the seasons. Blah blah blah. They only have this much story. No. It's the fact that if they were still only getting $10 million an episode and they had to make 10 episodes, well then almost all of their budget would be gone on those actors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they would have to make even more content. So
You know how they could have saved on the CGI budget? They could have had Braun aim that crossbow just a little bit more to the right.
So something that somebody pointed out to me that I didn't notice. So that's Drogon. So he's named after Khal Drogo.
Yeah.
And he was hit in the shoulder with the bow.
Yeah, the opposite shoulder of Drogo.
So I want to see a mage go like, don't drink any alcohol and keep it clean. And Drogon just rubs dirt in it and just starts just biting into casks of wine. And then he
Drinking
gets
a horn.
sick and dies. That's what I want to see. Because they robbed me of that on the show. Of Drogo being a fucking idiot. That's the reason Drogo died. It wasn't dark magic. It was he's fucking stupid. And didn't listen. Anything else anybody wants to say about the John Drogon scene before we go to Jorah Danny?
Nope.
Jorah Danny. It was a thing.
It was a thing that happened.
It happened. I don't like the immediate Jorah immediately clocked it. Immediately he was just like, fuck. They're gonna fuck.
The only thing I liked about this entire scene was that Amelia emoted. She actually smiled. She had a facial expression when Jorah showed up.
Other than fart smelling. Yeah, other than
stuck up Targaryen, just she's as bad as Kristen Stewart, except she doesn't rabbit.
that's extreme. That's an extreme thing to say.
Indeed.
To be fair, though, I mean, who do you say real quick?
I think the last time I've seen Emilia Clarke emote was when Drogo gave her the horse.
What? I don't know. She does.
She's had the same facial expression for 6 seasons.
She did angry pretty well in like Karth.
Okay, I'll give you that. She did do angry pretty well.
What did she do season 3? That's when she started getting the Unsullied. That's when it went all downhill. Yeah, she did pretty well at like she does well at angry because like one of my favorite scenes with her is the scene with her brother where she's like, next time you raise your hand to me, you will be the last time you had hands or whatever. If they would have kept that shit going, I would be in.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Just passive bitch mode is all she's managed for the last like 4 seasons.
So I think we can all agree that the best actress on the show is Lena Headey, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Who would you say the best actor is? I would
Really? It'll be a tie between Nikolai and Peter.
because I would throw Alfie in there. Like
Alfie,
Alfie might not be written well as a character, but he embodies
He acts the shit out of
Theon. Yeah, he acts the fuck out of it.
I think the dude
Ah,
who
but
plays
then there's,
Littlefinger
Ewan.
actually plays Littlefinger really well.
The only problem I have with his acting is that he just won't pick a fucking voice and stick with it. He's always changing the voice of Littlefinger.
No, not him. Ewan Ramsey.
Yeah, I know he was saying Littlefinger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Littlefinger plays his character very well. Very quiet and like just
Really,
you can tell he's always inspecting everything.
somebody who's not really surprising that he's so good, but is incredible is Charles Dance. Mm-hmm. Like as Tywin. It's no surprise. He's incredible as an actor.
Also, isn't he like a traditional like Shakespearean actor?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But he's incredible. The only other actress that was like really, really stand out is Elena, but she's one of those cats that's been around for forever too. It's not really surprising that she's really good at the character.
I thought Marjorie was really good until she's not a character anymore. So
Somebody who's surprising to me is actually Braun, because he's not an actor. He was a pop star. He was a singer. He was in a boy band called Flopsam and Jerome. So like, and they were pretty successful in Britain. So like he's surprising to me.
The guy that plays Jorah was also a pop singer.
Jorah's the bomb.
Ian Glenn was a.
Yeah, and when this episode's
Ian's
over,
great.
I'll pull up the video and show you like him singing. It's amazing.
Is he good?
He's all
I
right.
mean, I imagine he's got a silky sweet voice. But yeah, so like that scene really nothing to me, because at this point, I just want Jorah to be the prince that was promised and to fucking stab her through the heart and fucking beast out. That's what I want in this world. Moving on, Bran spying on the Night's King. Once again, that was nothing.
Literally nothing.
Literally
it's just
nothing.
Him confirming. Oh, yep, they're still coming.
Yep, they're definitely still coming, fellas.
Oh boy, they're still coming.
Oh boy, here I go flying again. Then you got the Old Town Maester scene where the Maesters are all together discussing stuff, and Sam's picking up books in the background. I liked that the Maester is like trying to humor him because his brother and whatnot just died.
Ian Glenn was in Doctor Who.
I'm sure he was. Most British people have been in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But yeah, he played like a constabulary or like someone in the police force, I believe.
In Doctor Who, no, he was the head of the clerics in the episodes with the Weeping Angels.
Oh, okay.
So I like that he's like humoring them. He's humoring Sam or whatever, because he's like,
Oh, yes, fine. We will look into this. Yes.
yeah. Other than that, once again, it was nothing seen. The reason I padded so much on things that weren't related to the episode is because most of these scenes I have no opinions on, because they were literally nothing.
Yeah, like I mean, that scene is something. It's a setup for the next Sam scene. That's all the way.
Of him being like, "Fuck it, I'm out, haters." Then he
Walks out.
walks away. All right, so here
Knew it was
is
coming.
Tyrion Varys scene. Now this scene was interesting.
I did like this scene. I especially like the part where Varys reaches over, takes
the wine.
the wine, takes a drink of Tyrion's wine, and sets it back down.
So the thing that I find interesting is that Varys has worked so hard for Targaryen restoration. He does not seem to be a big fan of Targaryens.
Not at the
Not right
moment.
now. No.
He was super into Targaryen restoration. And now he's like, I fucked up. I mean, the realm was peaceful with Robert. No one was burning motherfuckers alive when it was Robert.
Maybe I should have just sided with fucking Robert.
Should have let this bitch fucking die, man. I should have fucking done it, but
Should have just kept rocking it with Robbie
listen,
B.
man, switched horses mid-race. I got to keep going, you know.
Can I just say his little "I didn't do it" speech was amazing.
I did like that.
He's definitely. They're definitely foreshadowing him dying by betraying Dany, right? I'm
This
not the
is
only person that thinks that.
No, not at all.
I could see it now that you mention it, but it wasn't on the front of my mind.
Because like every time that he's talking about Dany, he's like, I don't know about this bitch. And then like the whole thing at the episode 1 or 2 or whatever the fuck when they had their back and forth, and she was like, if you ever betray me, I'll kill you. And he's just like, oh, blah blah blah. And she's like, the fire, because no one can convey context on this show without saying directly what they mean, because the writers suck cock.
Because everyone in the show has an ungodly acting talent.
makes me think of
all my circuits.
It makes me think of That's Lobstertainment, where like Calculon's acting the shit out of it, and he's just like, why would you promote more? It's just like, extras. I know this is a serious scene, but will one of you throw a pie for the love of God? It's not a morgue. Anyways,
I can't wait till we get to that episode on Moms.
But
You like
But
that
yeah,
deep cut there?
yeah, that's good stuff.
yeah, I really like this scene though. It was great. And now, was this also the scene where he has the note,
Yeah.
or is this a different?
Yeah, I liked
Yeah.
that a little bit where
The-
he's just
the-
like, it's a signed note for the fucking
A sealed.
The North.
Sealed note.
sealed note for this King of the North.
Oh, what does it say? Nothing good.
Like, yeah, but I just find it interesting that like they're very heavy-handedly foreshadowing Varys is gonna die
Oh, yeah.
because of Dany, and I wonder how Tyrion's gonna react to that. He's gonna be like,
that'll probably be the moment Tyrion seriously questions his alliance with Dany.
And also, here's another thing. Can someone please explain to me the disappearing and reappearing people on Dragonstone?
What do you mean? How they
Where's Melisandre?
how people just
Where's
disappear and then
Theon?
reappear? Mel has gone back east. I'm assuming.
I couldn't pay for that.
Theon,
episode.
they didn't want to pay him for another episode.
Probably not.
Um,
Because like it seems so damn important that Theon gets to see the Queen. Where the fuck is he?
One of my favorite things is like they're recruiting an all-star team of fighters, and it's just like, say what you will about Theon. When Theon, anytime we've seen Theon fight, he's been pretty good at fighting.
Yeah.
So it's just like, be like, hey Theon, you want to come? No. Like, give me that at least, to being like, no. Hey Theon, you're a fighter. You want to come? No. Okay, whatever, man.
Yeah, you want to give the man a redemption arc? There you go.
like I don't know.
They're never gonna give.
So
his ass
yeah,
a
that
redemption arc.
Here's Theon's redemption arc. All those fake scenes that Kit Harington mentioned to us. The whole thing happening north of the Wall. It's not Dany that shows up on a dragon. It's fucking Theon, and he just beheads the Night King and just.
And then he kicks it, and he goes, oi, 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 oi. Kicks it back to the lands always winter, and then he flies home.
He fucking sits down. It flies that
8-bit
fucking
glasses. 8-bit
flies
sunglasses.
the dragon back to fucking King's Landing. Melts the Red Keep. Fuck it, I'll do it.
Anyways, so that's all I had to say about that scene.
Yeah.
Jon in the war room with everybody when he gets the news that Arya and Bran are alive. It took them a while. I like that Bran immediately comes to Winterfell and he's like, "Where's Jon? I need to talk to Jon." Everybody's like, "I don't know. He's not fucking here, bro." And like, he doesn't send him a raven, but then he's just like, "I'm gonna send him a raven. The Night King is still coming." Like, what did you need to tell him? I'm assuming his parentage. Put it in the note. You already sent in a raven. Like,
Yeah, just write that shit down too.
just make it a slightly larger note. Do ravens have a carrying capacity?
Do they only have certain size sheets of paper? Because every note I've ever seen's been
It's
that
the
big.
exact same.
Look,
Use a
No,
smaller
the one
font.
that Arya unrolls is like 4 times as long as a normal note when she's unrolling.
Well, that's Littlefinger. He pays more for
Don't
the extra paper.
write
Yeah.
this bullshit cursive. Just do block letters as in a readable sized font. You'll save a bunch of surface space.
Monospace font.
We'll see.
Right on the other side of the paper.
Write Times New Roman. It's the best font. We can all know it.
Let's see. Here's the thing: we're just not all realizing. Most average people with the Raven letters, it's like Twitter. You have 150 something character limit.
140 characters.
That's why Twitter's a bird.
Eluding hashtags.
Hey, John. It's your bro, Bran. Haven't seen you in a while.
BT
LOL.
Dub Targaryen.
BT Dub. Targarets. Totes. Magoats. Broats. Ha ha. Ha ha. See you soon. XOXO.
Sends a second reader.
Hashtag you're the rightful heir to the Seven Kingdoms. Yada 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 yada. Because you had more than enough.
Hashtag you're the rightful heir. Hashtag kind of. Hashtag succession is complicated. Hashtag a lot of hashtags.
Hashtag please don't fuck your aunt.
Hashtag Danny's totally your aunt. Hashtag still hit it though.
Has to send a second raven. P.S. Night King's still coming.
Oh yeah.
P.S. Night King totes on the move, broham.
Eastwatch. Now.
So yeah, that scene once again, I was just kind of like, whatever. I hate the fact that it took so long for somebody to think of, because that was first season, first book. Somebody was like, "Yo, Alistair Thorne, take this hand down to King's Landing and show him it's still alive." And then Tyrion just kept putting it off, meeting with him, put it off for months and months, so the hand rotted. No one has ever thought again to be like, "Yo, grab a white and bring it down south." Like, no one's thought of that.
What and
Took Tyrion.
and what honestly bothered me and this,
Well, here's the thing. The thing that pissed me off was in the after the show thing where they're kind of going through the episode. The writers like, well, we had the idea to have Tyrion, come up with this idea because it had to be Tyrion.
Yeah, 'cause
No,
he's smart,
no, the
bro.
fuck it didn't. It could have literally have been any motherfucker in this room.
Yeah.
Seasons ago, like.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that I like, which is just like it's just like such fucking bullshit. Like, no one's thought of this. I understand to an extent that no one's thought of this because so far in the books, Jon is the only person that knows that these motherfuckers are alive. He's been pretty busy.
Yeah. Being dead and
But-
shit.
Being
Here's
north
the
of the
thing.
wall forever.
But here's the thing: even after those things were obviously known at Castle Black, hell, William the shit shoveler could have. Hey guys, maybe take one down there.
Exactly.
Dolores Ed would have thought of, hey, let's take one of these fucking things down there.
Yeah. Dolores Head would have been like,
And here's what really bothers me.
one
and
thought of doing
now
this yet.
granted, we're taking out of episode stuff into account here, but I was watching like a reaction video because I'm one of those suckers that for some reason enjoys watching those. But I was watching the reaction video, and the one scene where they come here, was like Tyrion's like, "We'll bring one down to Cersei." Everyone's like going, like even the audience,
Even the audience didn't think
Like,
about
are you
it.
shitting me?
Oh my god! I've never read the books, and I apparently don't take simple logic into account in my mind. I've also not read any of the leaks. Ho ho! I don't know why I'm Mickey Mouse. Ho ho!
I was about to say, when did Mickey Mouse become?
Watch the new season of DuckTales.
If you really want a good Mickey Mouse, you need to get Phil on here.
That was
He'll tell you dirty jokes in Mickey Mouse's
that
voice.
was my attempt to do Mickey Mouse doing the woo of
I heard
DuckTales.
he
Like,
did
it was
it
very
too.
difficult. It was very difficult. I started too high pitch. So anything else anybody has to say about this? No. I don't like that bullshit where like John's like, I'm going north, and Danny's like, I didn't dismiss you, and he's just like, bitch, listen.
He's like, I don't need your permission. I'm the fucking king.
Yeah, I'm a king, all right? I don't need your permission. All right,
Jon
I
Snow.
came here free will.
North.
I expect you not to be a real bitch about this. Try and kill me. I dare you. You think the North is hard to tame now? Kill their king. I dare you, motherfucker.
Yep.
Also, I'll be back to hit that later.
Yeah. Also,
What is it
this-
Matt says? Slip into my DMs.
Yeah, slip into the DMs, baby. That's the, what is that? That's like
Dragon
Direct
messages.
message?
Dragon messages.
dragon something. I can't think of M.
Dragon mattress.
Dragon mattress.
Dragon Minge.
That works, I guess. That's the best thing we're going to get. All right, anyways.
Slip into that Dragon Minge.
Well, they can both control dragons because they're both Targaryens. So it'd be dragon messaging, and instead of like just sending
It's not Twitter.
sending ravens or with little scrolls, or sending fucking dragons with libraries.
There you go.
I'm going to sneeze, so vent for a second.
There you
Or
go.
Or don't vent. All right, just sit there in silence and look at me.
I'll vent
You
it.
fucking weirdos. Watch him sneeze. I've never seen him sneeze before. I saw his soul a little bit. It's so black. So
one thing I did find funny about the scene, by the way, before we move on to the next one, is them talking about like, how are we going to get Tyrion, into King's Landing?
But then everyone just looks at
Everyone just looks at to Davos, just like.
So weird thing that I saw throughout this episode is like 40 different times he's called older than shit. Like he's like, oh, I've only made it to a ripe old age later, and then the guards are like, how old are you, old man? It's fucking 15 dragons now, and blah blah. Like it's referred to his age like 5 or 6 times in this episode, which I found strange because I'm not like I feel like that's kind of out of place. I feel like they're heavy-handedly hinting to something that I don't know about yet.
You mean possibly Davos dying?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Of old
He's-
age.
He's lost a step, baby. But yeah, so that's a thing that I noticed. Anything else about the war room anybody wants to talk about?
Nope.
Sansa in the north, when the kings of the north, or the kings, the lords of the north in the Vale are like, hey, we want you to be the leader because John's been gone for like a month. What fucking bunch of pieces of shit turncoats.
They've probably been gone for more like 3-4 months. Because you got to realize it's taken probably a month to get down there to Dragonstone.
Logically, that makes sense, but logically, it also doesn't make sense because Danny and him seem like they have not interacted at all. So they like passing each other in Dragonstone and just being like,
They probably
they're just-
haven't.
They're just
interacted
ignoring
that
each
much.
other. They're just like they're doing that thing where like you like a girl, so you don't talk to her, you purposely ignore her. You know what I mean? When you're
Hey,
like,
I'm going to
when
my
you're in,
dragon
like-
glass. Hey, I'm going to sit angrily in the
Yeah,
war room.
when you're in like grade school or whatever, and they're like he bumps into her in the hallway, and he's like, sorry, and then she's like twiddling her thumbs and like looking at him, and she's
But
just
you-
like, so do you like dragons? And he's like, not really, and then he walks off, and she's like,
But you got to realize, like timeline wise here, you're thinking about probably like a month for them to sail on down to Dragonstone, maybe like 3 weeks or so. After that, you've got probably a week of their interaction before she gets the whole idea of getting Dothraki horde out there to kick some ass. Then you got to realize how long is it taking the Dothraki horde to get out there and get across to Highgarden and all that, and then her coming back. So yeah, I'd say it's probably been about 3-4 months he's been down there.
Yeah, probably, but like that's my thing. Is like that makes sense logically, for them to be gone that long. But it doesn't make sense that him and Danny are just not interacting with each other at all.
No, like I said, they probably have only had about a week's worth of interaction time. Totally.
Like imagine they're at like dinner, and they're just sitting there and quiet, and it's just like, so what'd you do today?
Dragons.
I went and killed a bunch of Lannisters. What'd you do? Sat here because you haven't given me my boat back yet. What kind of meat is this? People meat.
People meat.
We don't grow any food here, so
It's a rock.
we just took the dead Lannisters. They're already cooked. They're fine. It'll keep. Trust me. But they're such turncloak pieces of shit. Just he's gone for a few months. And they're immediately just like, we need a new king. They're not loyal for shit. They're garbage people.
Yeah, they're pretty shitty.
The North is supposed to be fiercely loyal, but instead they're fucking like, oh well, I guess we need a new king. Here we go, crowning again.
Let's do it.
And then Sansa, Arya's just staring Sansa down, and Sansa's just like, you're all very kind, my lords, but I couldn't.
Yeah, Arya twists that.
So here's the thing.
any-
Sorry, I've been quiet for a minute here, but
Yeah.
looking on the actual wiki here, it kind of annoys me that they're referring to Davos as being so fucking old, because in the books, at the start of the books, he's fucking 38.
Right, so he's
That's old medieval times, boy.
No, it really isn't. The reason the average lifespan in those times was so low is because there's such a high infant mortality rate. Excuse the number, way lower. Typically, once you make it to late childhood, you're pretty much all right unless you get murked up in a war.
Or get the plague.
Well, that
or
was
get
only during
dysentery.
Yeah,
Get the rickets.
never ford the river.
Or the croup, or the Jimmy legs, or the
you
black lung pop.
Or you try to ford a river or something.
Or the black lung pop. What is this? A kingdom for ants? So, what was I gonna say?
Well, here's the thing, though. Ned
any
Stark's
of the
only
hepatitis.
35 at the beginning of the series.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, that's Catelyn's still young and hot and childbearing.
well, they again they did age everyone up.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm
they
saying.
shouldn't have
is
aged everyone up that fucking much.
Every time I see an illustration of Catelyn Stark, I'm just like, damn, they fucked up. Because they got Michelle Fairley or whatever, and I'm like, no. But then I see illustrations, I'm like, man, I want to fuck this cartoon more than this real person. I'm not that kind of guy. That's not my kink. But I'd fuck the shit out of this cartoon if it was real. She got it going on. That's something I noticed in this episode too. I'm pretty sure they have most of the women wearing corsets under their shit. Because I was looking at sounds really weird, but I saw the shape of Sansa when she was walking, and I was like, either that motherfucker doesn't have ribs, or that shouldn't have a rib cage, or she's wearing a corset under her shit. Same thing with Dany.
Yeah.
Dany was uncharacteristically slender. I don't know, not really important. What was I gonna say about the North though? They're all a bunch
It's
of people-
cold.
They're all a bunch of pieces of shit, dude.
That's cold.
I had something of actual importance to say, but fuck it, I'll remember it later, I'm sure.
Yeah, fuck
after
it.
we stop recording. Here's my question. Is anybody convinced at all? Is anybody fooled even for a second that Sansa's going to turn on Jon?
No.
Because I'm not. I don't understand who they're trying to fool here. It's this is obviously, they're just trying to pull the wool over your eyes, but Sansa's not going to betray Jon. It's not going to happen.
But don't you feel like that's going to be the least argumentative turn ever? You're I want this. And you're fuck it.
And it's very clear she's killing Littlefinger this season.
Yeah. I actually was talking to both you and I think James earlier. I put money at the end of this next episode.
I'm going to say episode 7.
You think he'll survive the next one?
Yeah. I think he'll make it to episode 7. 'Cause that's really quick moving for them to find out his plot, then foil his plot, and then
I don't
kill
think
him.
we're going to
And
find out
I
the
definitely
plot.
have a lot of things to say.
Well, I mean, whatever he's trying to do with Sansa and Arya,
Oh.
Yeah.
Find the plot and then figure out the plot and then murk him up. I mean, Bran knows everything that's supposed to happen in the past, quote unquote, and then he just doesn't know some shit for some reason. But yeah, I mean, if Bran already knows everything, then that could be very much reason why they kill him. I think they'll make it to episode 7. We'll see. It doesn't really matter. But like, is anybody convinced for a second? Because I'm not. Same thing with like this Arya Sansa thing they're trying to do right now, where they're trying to like pit Arya and Sansa. You're not fooling me. Like, they're not gonna go against each other. Like, I'm not that dumb. Like, sort your shit out, writers. Write better. Emote more.
Acting talent.
Writing talent. Game of Thrones. We have dragons.
Maybe they just need to make a deal with the Robot Devil for better writing talent.
They need to fucking throw themselves off a bunch of cliffs. All right.
They need to time it up.
A bunch of them in case they fail the first
Just time it up, people.
Anyway, so Sansa and Arya thing now. They're a little scene back and forth where Arya's just like, you think you're better than everybody. You like fancy things. You're a redhead. You're way prettier than I am. Fuck you.
I hated this scene.
So it was dumb. Once again, it's just them trying to convince you that like they're gonna fight each other, and it's like we know they're not. So shut up. That's all I had to say about that.
They might argue and bicker, but I don't think they're actually.
That's just going back to the way they were before,
Yeah.
back in like season 1, that they just sisters bitching at each other because sisters.
Then we have Davos and Tyrion arriving at King's Landing. It was fine.
Yeah.
They got there.
That was fine.
Oh boy, here I go rowing again.
Yeah.
It's probably
My thing is how'd they get that? I'm not sure if you saw how far upshore the boat is from the ocean, but that means Davos is the strongest motherfucker on the planet because Tyrion ain't helping for shit. So like, Davos is just a motherfucker. He's just
no,
like,
he's got a lower center of gravity.
You
It
saw
can
you
push
saw
harder.
how many Ironborn it took to pull the boat ashore with Theon or whatever. That means Davos is stronger than all those people. He should be going north of the wall, fucking shit up. If he had all the fingers on his other hand, he'd be unstoppable. He'd be stronger than the Hound.
I mean, he's a smuggler. He's had plenty of practice.
He's just like, "Roar!" He's got that shit, dude. Then Bronn and Jaime and Tyrion in
Meh.
the dragon pits. The
The only line I liked from this was it'll take a while with a training sword.
Yeah, that was fine.
Sparring sword.
Sparring
I
sword,
didn't.
yeah.
I don't like that. Jaime has no love for his father, really. Like Jaime didn't really like Tywin. So like I don't, especially after he tried to frame Tyrion who he loves. Like I don't see why this is such a big thing of just like, I know you didn't kill my son, and I know our dad was a dick and was trying to kill you, so you had to kill him instead. But fuck you. Like I don't understand that at all. You know what I mean?
It's good dialogue there,
It's
man.
kind of annoying.
I would like to think that it's more along the lines of you just decide to up and join with our enemy.
He didn't really have many options.
He really didn't.
Especially since how he was getting hunted by everyone in Westeros.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have to go to Essos. I have no real skills.
my skills lie in drinking and knowing things and
Fixing
advising
sewers.
kings.
And reaching things on the bottom shelf without having to bend over.
Yeah. So
He can also...
he has few options in Essos, and
Yeah.
the only really good one was join up with Dany.
Yeah,
So,
that or he can ride a dog and joust another lady who rides a dog.
Well,
or a
the
pig,
pig,
sorry, yeah. But yeah, so like...
that
that's
was a really weird
thing.
thing
yeah.
in the books.
So like this scene, it was fine. Like I guess I'm kind of annoyed, like I said, by the fact that they aren't like buds, because I feel like there's not really much of a reason for them not to be buds now that Jaime knows for absolute certainty that he didn't kill Joffrey. Because if he knows for a fact he didn't kill Joffrey, then he knows for a fact that Tywin was purposely trying to kill Tyrion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those two things are deeply intertwined with each other.
Yet, nevertheless, Jamie looked like he was on the verge of just stabbing him right then and there.
Yeah.
The entire scene.
Cutting
And
him in
then-
half with a sparring sword.
Then the whole thing with Tyrion being like, he hated me because I was a dwarf. I didn't choose to be this way and stuff like that. It's like, we've gone over this before, Tyrion, baby. We've gone over it, buddy. Let's go to a new well, all right, about how your family turned your back on you and like abandoned you, even the ones that like you were close with, like your Uncle Kevin and shit like that. Like, go to that well. That's the well I want to see you go to, Pete. Old Dinkle. All right.
Old Dinkle.
Then we have the Gendry Davos scene. Oh my god. So I love Gendry. You guys.
All right, let's all just sit back for a minute.
Yep.
So
Because it's
well,
rant
no,
time.
no. This isn't where the rant's really gonna be
Okay.
bad. But the thing that I didn't like, Jesus Christ, is the fucking. Oh, I thought you'd still be rowing. Wink, wink. I'm looking at you, audience. I'm looking at you. Like,
Fuck you, Reddit!
oh, like I hated that
for them to have totally
much.
put a fan servicey line in there like that. It's like, oh, you know the joke y'all been making for the past 4 years? Here you go.
Like, I'm sure I visibly frowned. Like, I'm sure I went from,
I
like,
felt your frown.
normal face to me going,
Beating the
I
fuck out
felt
of
your
that dead
frown
horse.
from all the way across town. That was
Yeah.
not intended to rhyme, but I couldn't think of another way to say
They were
it.
beating
so-
that dead horse with another dead horse.
like Liam Cunningham, the guy who plays Davos, was at home and he was just like, I was throwing so much shade and my stare was so icy. He went, "Whew, what the fuck was that?"
Point is, we're all over in my living room watching this, and that scene happens. You might as well be like, feel a disturbance in the force.
Yeah,
Like a million,
I was like,
voices crying out
I
inside.
felt like shit. I was barely awake. I was like laying there in misery. I was like, oh god, that's going to piss Gadry off.
Oh yeah, dude, because you know how like, and the thing is like you know how much I love Gendry.
Yeah.
In the second he started rowing, I was like, when's Gendry coming back, baby? When's he back? House Baratheon, baby. When's he back? Woo! Him and Stannis the Manus, they're gonna team up and they're gonna fuck shit up, yeah boy, or whatever I thought at the time, which probably wasn't that. I don't think I ever thought that, but like I love House Baratheon. Gendry's last Baratheon. I'm all about Gendry, and they said that, and I immediately was like, you're gonna fuck this up for me, aren't you? But I like how gung-ho he is, how ready to be in the fight he is. He's like,
Yeah.
I've been waiting on this. Because you would. If you knew that you were the son of the previous king, and you knew...
Of fucking Robert Baratheon, not
Yeah.
just the previous king. Of
a
Robert
warrior
goddamn
king. Yeah,
Baratheon.
a warrior king.
Fucking Robbie B, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking
apparently-
killer of Rhaegar Targaryen, well known as the best sword in Westeros other than Sir Arthur Dayne.
And
Like,
also, wasn't Robert known as like the strongest man in Westeros as well?
well, Robert really was a young dude still. Robert
Yeah.
was only at the end of his teens, maybe early 20s, like very, very early 20s.
Yeah.
When all this happened, like, he was well respected, but he wasn't considered like this unstoppable juggernaut warrior. He was considered one of the strongest, like physically strong dudes because his warhammer was so heavy that Eddard could barely pick it up. But Robert fucking fucked shit up with it.
Very similar to the way that we'll get into that in a little bit. I don't wanna talk too much, but
So like something I just thought of that's interesting to me. The two greatest swordsmen in the Seven Kingdoms at the time were Sir Arthur Dayne and Rhaegar.
Yep.
And Robert killed one and Ned killed the other. I like that.
But wouldn't
And then the
Barristan
third
Selmy-
at that point would have been, third would have been Barristan, fourth would have been Jaime.
Yeah. Because, like, regardless of what, like, Barristan's really good, Sir Arthur Dayne was a god. like even Barristan says Sir Arthur Dayne was incredible. Like,
I mean, even in that flashback sequence, you got Bran sitting there going,
Jesus.
he's better than my dad. Like
Yeah.
there's no way.
And honestly, that was probably toned down Sir Arthur Dayne. Like Sir Arthur Dayne was supposed to be, like, omnipotent. Like, he was
Yeah.
supposed to be unstoppable. You know what I mean? Like,
He's parrying your attacks before you know you're making the attack.
Yeah,
Like,
he was-
he's that fucking
He
good.
was, quote, the best knight Eddard had ever seen, and Jaime thought he was the best swordsman that he'd ever seen. And Jaime was, of course, well known for being one of the best swordsmen of all time, and he saw all the last set of great Kingsguard of Sir Gerald Hightower and Oswald Went and, you know, all these incredible guys, you know, Barristan, like, all these super incredible guys. And then you had Rhaegar, who Rhaegar was considered, like, an unstoppable force in nature. Like, Rhaegar was widely considered to be incredible in every way, you know?
Rhaegar would probably have been an equal like in skill to Barristan.
Yeah. So, like,
And Arthur Dayne is like leagues above that.
yeah.
Like,
So Arthur Dayne,
this dude was born to wield a sword.
if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure somebody, I don't remember
He
who.
was born to bring balance to the force.
Yeah, somebody.
Like-
I don't remember who, but I'm pretty sure there's a person in the book who says he's the greatest swordsman to ever live.
Yeah.
pretty much. But anyways, yeah. What were we talking about?
Oh, we were at the Gendry scene, but before we get
Gendry.
to that, one last brief aside. With that in mind, who do you think the best swordsmen or swordswomen are at this point in time? Like the top three. you think?
Currently alive?
Yeah.
Brienne.
Brienne, Braun.
And do you think the Hounds
Books or
still got it in
show?
them?
Well,
Show.
books or show?
Show
Okay,
because-
show.
So,
So Brienne is definitely up there.
Yeah.
From there, it becomes difficult because, like, the Hound is widely considered better than the Mountain before he got injured. because the mountain is just all about sheer force and brutality.
Yeah.
Like, you can very much see it in that first season whenever they're back and forth, and then Robert's like, let this end or whatever, and the Hound just drops to the knee and the mountain just goes over his head. You know what I mean? You can very visibly see, like, they're very different fighting styles.
That was
The Hound
actually
is much
probably
better.
one of my all-time favorite scenes in the show.
Yeah, it
too.
was great. But like, so the Hound is widely considered to be a much better fighter than the Mountain is. But now he's also Franken Mountain. Now he's also, injured or whatever. But he still seems to be able to fight like a motherfucker. Killed like 5 dudes with an axe with no armor.
Thoros, we also have to keep in mind, Thoros is actually a skilled swordsman.
Thoros won the
at
melee
that same
multiple
tournament,
times.
at the same tournament we see at the beginning of the series, that is the same tournament that Thoros won the melee competition with his flaming sword.
Yeah, also Thoros was the very first person through the breach on Pike whenever
During
the
the
Greyjoy
Greyjoy
Rebellion
Rebellion.
happens, and he didn't die. Second person through the breach was
Jorah
Jorah.
Mormont.
Yeah, that's actually where Jorah got his
Typically, the
knighthood.
first people through the breach are usually the first ones
Yeah.
to die on the
Yeah.
other side of the wall.
This shows how skilled they are. I love when Jorah's talking about it. He's like, I'll never forget, Thoros bursting through the breach with that flaming sword. Like, that'd be so badass if you were you were going into a battle or whatever. This motherfucker is like, I'm going in first. And then he lights his sword on fire, and then he just fucks shit up and doesn't die. It would just be like, Jesus Christ. This guy is a fucking monster.
I am looking forward to seeing that next episode, but we'll get to there.
Yeah.
Oh, do you think you'll fight with the flaming sword in the next episode?
I don't know.
Then
But we
Because
don't
I will let myself get a little bit hyped for the
Barrack.
It's
for the-
possible.
the
We know
West
Barrack
Mercy
does.
7.
We know Barrack does because we've seen the thing of flame on sword. I would like to see Thoros. I don't see why Thoros wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's like his whole deal.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Dude,
so
I'll let myself get a little bit hyped for that.
Back
Just
to-
because I've wanted to
Yes,
see it for so long.
back to the
Gendry.
Gendry Davos thing. The one thing that I will point out, which I think that you wanted to get into, is he picks up the Warhammer and carries it one-handed,
Yeah, that thing is massive.
which is astonishing to me because, like I said, Eddard couldn't even lift the Warhammer of Robert Baratheon. He could barely lift it. And this guy's just like, let's go.
Yeah, 'cause here's the thing. I've got a friend of mine who's into blacksmithing, and I have messed with a lot of his metal work. And with the head that's on that Warhammer and the fact that the haft looks like it's metal and not wood,
Yeah.
that thing has to weigh probably about 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's just, fuck it, let's go.
The one thing that I have a problem with it is that it doesn't look like Robert's Warhammer. Robert's Warhammer is very
the
distinctive.
problem I have with it is it doesn't look like a war hammer.
It looks like a maul.
No, the thing is,
But like
here's the deal. In fantasy, Warhammers are very much confused for mauls a lot of the time.
Robert's
mean,
Warhammer has these
that is kind of what like a simplified version, smaller version of what Robert's Warhammer would have legitimately looked like.
Robert's Warhammer had 4 big spikes on it or whatever, and then the back of it looked like an antler horn or whatever, the back spike, and then it had another spike at the bottom, I think, and it was solid metal all the way through.
This is actually Robert's Warhammer.
Yeah, there you go. So it's more than a couple spikes.
Big old meat tenderizer.
Yeah.
But I want to see Gendry in full Baratheon armor, though. I want to see him with the antlers and everything, which we'll never get, but I want it. But I like the scene. I love Gendry. Gendry's back. I'm super happy about it, unless they kill him in the next episode, in which case I will literally burn Dan and Dave's house down. I don't know if they have children, but their children will die screaming. like, it'll be what they did to Shireen will be nothing.
One of my favorite parts of this scene is it seems like Davos is anticipating he's going to have to try to talk Gendry out of his blacksmith life that he's led for the past 3 to 4
"Cool,
years.
Scott."
And he's like sitting there going, he's like, are you ready to take me away? He's like, well, yeah. It's like, and he just picks up Warhammer. He's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, he's got a go bag and everything. Ready.
Just
He's like,
ready.
Let's
I've been
fucking-
waiting, motherfucker. Which is very reflective of House Baratheon. House Baratheon, they don't think things through. They're hard-headed. They immediately go. You know what I mean? They're passionate. They're emotional. They're
Love it.
And they're warriors. That's what they do. And that's one of the things I love about them. The Baratheon that thought things
So
through the
can we
most
just
was
all establish
Stannis'
right
problem.
now then that House Baratheon is best house?
Dude, yeah. I am a House Baratheon guy.
Yeah.
Ours is the Fury. The other night I was drinking it.
They have the best house words too.
Yeah, ours is the Fury is the best.
Can we all agree that growing strong is the worst?
Yeah. Well,
growing
Family
strong?
Duty Honor is
Tyrell.
pretty shit. Family Duty Honor is pretty garbage.
Yeah.
I don't like that either. What was the what was I gonna say? But yeah, like the Baratheons also have the coolest armor. They're fucking antler heads and shit like that, and they're fucking. He's got a warhammer.
It also doesn't hurt that they have Lionel Baratheon in
The
their
Laughing
history.
Storm is one of the coolest motherfuckers on the planet. Like, he fucking rebelled against the crown and was like, because like Aegon V was like, hey son, I know I promised you to a Baratheon, but you've met a common girl you love. Marry her, follow your heart, kid. And Sir Lionel Baratheon was like, fuck you. He was like, I'm rebelling against the crown. And he made pretty good headway before they were like, all right, 1-on-1, Laughing Storm, Sir Duncan the Tall. Let's go, baby. And Lionel Baratheon was like, let's do it. Lionel Baratheon was that motherfucker. I love Lionel Baratheon. He also used to, in the joust, he would purposefully knock people's like helms off or whatever, like their
throw 'em into the
their
crowd?
sigils on their helms, because a lot of times they were, you know, adorned with like gold or silver or something like that. And he would, once he would knock them off the horse or whatever, he'd hop down and he'd take it and he'd throw it into the common section of just like normal folk, not like high lords or anything like that. He'd throw it into the crowd of the peasants. The entire time he was fighting too, he would be laughing. Like he'd get hit in the face with a fucking, you know, a morning star, and he'd just be fucking chuckling like he's fucking dying laughing, like somebody just told the funniest joke. He's the fucking Joker. He was a savage dude. I
He
love
was the Joker
Baratheons.
if the Joker was also Bane.
And then Edric, was it Edric? What was the Baratheon that came with the Targaryens, with Aegon? He became a Baratheon. He got the Storm's End and stuff like that, because they're not like an old family.
No, they're reasonably new.
They came to.
They're also descendants of House Targaryen.
Yeah, they're a canon branch of the Targaryen house. Like,
We're
Robert's-
dumping a lot of legit information this episode.
I think Robert's grandmother was a Targaryen, or
Yeah.
grandfather. I think it was grandmother though. Anyways, he got Storm's End because he went there. He was like, Aegon was like, hey, go take Storm's End. He was like, cool. And he went there and challenged the head of Storm's End to one-on-one combat, killed him.
It was Edric, by the way.
Edric, yeah.
Edric Storm.
Got there, killed him, and then married his daughter. He was just like, and he was a gentleman about it to the daughter too, because like the daughter was like, a bunch of his men were like, you know, they're of course men of war, and like this is medieval times, so they were about to like put it to her in a non-consensual way. And he was just like, get the fuck off her. He like wrapped her in like a cloak and stuff and was just like, come on, my lady. And stuff like that. He was a baller about it, through and through. Baratheons for life. What up? Come at me, fam. But yeah, so like there's that scene which I really enjoyed. Then from there we get the I wrote beach scene of them leaving, which once again Gendry puts in work on those guards, dude.
Not after though. Davos being probably the most hilarious I've seen him this season.
Oh, with like the fermented crab and stuff like that. Yeah, that was an old dirty trick where he's just like he has the fermented crab already in there and shit like that.
Oh yeah, I love the jokes I was already seeing online as like Davos of House Cialis.
Might want to hurry to your favorite establishment before you put a hole in that chainmail.
Yeah. The only thing I'm upset about is that he didn't have any onions. These came in handy last time. They'll come in handy again, I promise. But yeah, so that was fine. You know what I mean? I didn't like those fucking guards though. Just like, here's your 15 gold dragons. Dunk has a gold dragon, and he's just like, I could live off this for like a year and a half. And they get 15 gold dragons each, even with inflation. I imagine over the course of 60 years, let's say, I imagine you can still make a pretty good living off 15 gold dragons. And they're just like, got wine in that boat. It's just like, dude, you're asking to get work put in on you. You're asking for these hands, these Gendry hands, these storm hands, baby. The storm's coming. The first and the last, bitch. Fuck, you're on.
And yeah, the way Gendry handled that Warhammer, my God, how strong is that man?
Yeah, it was dope. Then we have the second Jaime and Cersei scene where Jaime's like, I met with Tyrion. And then she's like, I'm pregnant. And he's like,
I full on think she's lying through her fucking teeth. I don't think she's pregnant.
I think she is.
I think she's using this as a way to try to control Jaime.
I think she is. I think she done got busted up inside.
She are pregnant.
Yeah, I think she's pregnant. I think I actually have a theory now, which is I think she's going to be killed in pregnancy. I think she's going to die in pregnancy.
Oh, yeah.
And I think because of the incest, she's going to give birth to a dwarf like Tyrion.
I think it'd be pretty dope.
Killed by the hands. It could be metaphorical hands of the little brother.
Yeah.
Which, if it's a boy, it's her fourth kid, so that's a little brother.
Yeah.
And if he's little, then it's double little. Dun dun dun. So that's just my thought.
The thought plickens.
But yeah, that scene was fine. Then we have Gendry and Jon. I love this scene right here quite a bit because I like that Davos is like, don't mention where you're from or who you are. Don't mention it. Don't mention it. Don't mention it. And then Gendry is full Baratheon. He's just like, hey, I'm Gendry. I'm Rob Baratheon's bastard son. What's up, fam? Like, balls of
He
your
wasn't
court.
supposed to tell you that.
I like that a lot because, like, Gendry isn't about the subterfuge. He doesn't care who knows who he is or what he is. He's been hiding it long enough.
Yeah.
He knows that this is Eddard's kid or whatever. He's assuming he's a good dude, like Eddard was. Him and Eddard, their
I like how he's just
best bros.
embraced the Baratheon-ness.
Yeah, he's
So like before, he had no idea.
yeah. He
So he was
seems
just a dude.
like I can imagine him being young Robert right now.
Yeah.
Like he's very boisterous. He's not hiding shit. He's like, if anybody's got a problem, we'll tussle, baby. I got this hammer. Let's do
Here's
it.
what I want to see. If they do any kind of prequel series that involves Robert and Ned, I really want to see the dude that plays Gendry playing Robert. Just
Because
give him the
he's
beard.
supposed to be exactly.
Just give him the fucking beard. That's all
He's
you
supposed
need.
to look exactly like him.
Long hair and the beard because he had long hair.
Like enough that Ned first saw him, he thought he was Robert. He thought he was young Robert. He's like, whoa, flashbacks, PTSD. The red fucking bed. Oh, I'm back. Yeah, that's definitely Robert's bastard son.
Shit, how did no one figure this out?
Yeah. How has no one noticed this yet? He's literally Robert minus the beard. Throw a fake beard on
And
him.
the
quick.
gut.
Yeah.
And the Cersei.
Yeah. So I like that quite a bit because it's very that seems very Baratheon-y. Like the Baratheons aren't other than who's his face? Fuck. Shitty Baratheon, young one. Renly. Other than Renly, like no one really played the game. Like Robert didn't play the game. He took the throne because he was like, fuck you. And then Stannis didn't play the game. He wanted to take the throne because fuck you. And he might take the throne in the book still. Fingers crossed. Woo, come on, Stannis the Manus. Then we have the goodbyes of like everybody to everybody. I like Tyrion giving Jorah the little coin thing.
Yeah, that was
like
pretty
that.
cool.
That was a good little bit of continuity.
No one can glower quite like you.
But him giving him that coin is why I think that Jorah ain't coming back.
I mean, it's possible. I have many a theory.
Yeah, we'll go over those moments.
I have many a theory.
Money.
So, yeah, the goodbyes were fine. I find it strange. Like, I'm upset that every time Jorah gets a moment where he's like gonna say bye or hi to Dany, Jon just rolls up and he's just like, and he just moves along. Like, that's kind of upsetting, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Have you put hands on my Khaleesi?
I mean, it's not you, Jorah, so yes. He's probably fucked the shit out of him. Like, other than eunuchs and dwarfs and Jorahs, she'll basically fuck whoever, it seems. She's DTF as hell. Listen, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I respect a woman that's just DTF, all right? You do you, Khaleesi. You do you, all right? But seriously, though, no Jorahs allowed. She ain't about those bears.
No bears.
So
he gets the coin, and yeah, they
They all
head
deuce
on up
out. Yep, they all
towards,
deuce out.
Eastwatch.
Then we got the Sam Gilly scene of this is where the rant's gonna come in.
All right, everyone buckle
All
up.
right, so I'm fine with Sam studying whatever, and then like the whole thing with Gilly where she's kind of being like, the girlfriend who's trying to be interested in the things you're interested in or whatever. So she's like, guess how many steps are in blah, 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 blah. I read this. I love reading. You like reading. We're the best. That I'm fine with. Also,
This guy recorded his poop.
I don't know why, but as the seasons progress, I find the girl who plays Gilly more attractive every season.
Huh?
Every time I see Gilly, I find her a little bit more attractive.
Because she's a little less, like, dirty looking.
Yeah. They just clean her up a little bit more, and I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Now, you actually, like, they've removed the 4 pounds of dirt and mud from her face and, like, washed her hair. And you're like, oh, she's actually a reasonably attractive looking girl.
Something I hated, though. The thing I hated. This is now my third most hated thing. Only beaten by the Dany scene from season 6 where she burns the cows, which is my most hated thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And then the next thing would be the Arya Brienne fight last episode. Like, this is right up there. This is fucking pissed me off. How spoon-fed do you have to be for her little fucking thing where she's like, there was a what's an annulment, and then he explains what annulment. And she's like, a Prince Rhaegar, and he had a marriage annulled in Dorne, and then there was a secret wedding. It's just like, we know. And then, okay, so that annoys me. Second, this is supposed to be based off of the history of like real world history. A lot of the events, right?
Yeah.
Annulments don't happen that easily. You can't just be a king or a prince and be like, I need an annulment, because King Henry VIII tried to get an annulment from his wife. Guess what the Pope did? He said, fuck off, you fucked her, didn't you? Yeah, well then you're in.
Sorry, you sealed the deal.
You're done. There was children like involved. Like, you had 2 kids. You can't say you didn't fuck her. Like, just marry somebody else, because traditionally, the Targaryens had multiple spouses. That's just what they did. They loved marrying multiple people. Aegon Targaryen had 2 sisters that he then married. It just happens. It's what they do. So they should have just had him also marry Lyanna. Like, just do it. Nike, baby. Don't bring all this bullshit fucking, oh, well, there was an annulment, and then fucking, there was a secret ceremony. What the fuck was the fucking Septon even doing there? The High Septon. She said it was the High Septon, correct?
I think so, yeah.
Why the fuck is he even there? Why was he in Dorne?
Well, I want to know.
He should have been in Old Town. God damn it!
I want to know
How did
what
it
kind
go
of book she was reading,
That's
because
where
it
the
goes
Faith's
from
headquarters
steps
is.
Oh, okay.
to that to shits. Like, what book was she reading? Just random useless facts.
It was just
4052 because we have a fucking
It
library.
just seemed
full
like
of
a
them.
list of records that a dude wrote down. He just recorded his daily activities. He's like,
Yeah.
today I counted all the steps in the Sept of Baelor. There were many.
Yep, there's
I
some.
pooped twice today.
Here I go writing again.
Here I go pooping again.
So, yeah, that just fucking annoyed me so much. Oh my God, I hated it so much. It just pissed me off, dude. Like, how spoon-fed? Can you not grasp it? Like, they've referenced the fact that Jon is a Targaryen multiple times.
Just this episode.
You don't need to spoon-feed it a million times for people to get it. People get it. Like, 90% of people got it last season. Like, you don't need 400 other times of you being like, he's a Targaryen. Hey, did you know? Did you know he's a Targaryen? Hey, I'm not poking you. Did you know he's a Targaryen? Like, you don't need to keep telling me that. Spend your time more wisely, like fleshing out characters, or showing some damn travel, or maybe making Littlefinger less shit. Like,
They're throwing you off the trail, man.
you have a million things that you could do. Oh, if he didn't turn out to be a Targaryen, I'd fucking come in my pants. I'd love it if he turned out to be like a Dane. Like, he turned out to be a Shara Dane's kid. I'd love it because they'd fucking have to make the Danes a thing. Because George has
And also,
been...
it'd make more sense per the books.
Yeah, George has said...
You don't know much about that, but at some point in the future, we might go into that.
George has strictly said that that Dawn is super important to the end of the series, which is the ancestral sword of House Dane. But Dawn is definitely not going to
Fuck
be
it, you want
important.
to just go into it now?
Let's see. We're probably over an hour already. Yeah, we're at an hour and 17 minutes. We got many shows to go. Many scenes.
It's fine.
Fuck it then. So James is putting his head down. You want to wrap this up and then we'll come back to it here in a second at the end? Or no, fuck it. We'll just
I
go
don't
right
care
now.
how we do it.
All right, so House Dane is a very strange house. You don't know House Dane, but House Dane is weird because they've been in the Seven Kingdoms for 8,000 years, but they look like Targaryens. They are pale. They have the purple eyes. They have the bleach blonde hair. They are essentially Targaryens. They came from Essos.
They are Valyrian.
Yeah,
100% through
very,
and through.
very Valyrian. The thing that's interesting about them is their ancestral sword. Okay, their ancestral sword is called Dawn, and it's carved out of a meteorite. Extensively, it's
Sword.
pale as milk glass, so it's pale like milk. It's super fucking white, and it seems to almost glow, right? And it basically has all the properties of Valyrian steel. It's super strong. It doesn't need to be sharpened ever. Like, it's basically just Valyrian steel. That isn't Valyrian steel. Now, the interesting thing about them is they live in Dorne. Okay? Very pale, blonde hair, purple eyes. But they live in Dorne. They're definitely not Dornishmen. Dornishmen are often like
skin.
Spaniards, kind of. You know what I mean? They're kind of Spanish-y looking. They got like olive skin. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're darker people. And like, so it's just kind of strange that they're there. My theory is that the first Dane was actually the first Azor Ahai. Because Azor Ahai is a legend that comes from the East, which was where Valeria would be at the time. Or, you know, all the free cities and stuff like that would be at the time.
Yeah.
So my theory is that House Dane came over. First member of House Dane was Azor Ahai. He pushed back the Long Night using Lightbringer, which is now called Dawn. And then to keep the sword safe, they went to Dorne, the farthest place from the wall possible. And there they have been, House Dane. The interesting thing about House Dane, though, is the sword doesn't go to the Lord of Starfall, which is their castle. It doesn't go to the Lord of Starfall. And it doesn't go to somebody every generation. It will sit idle until somebody is good enough of a fighter
To deserve
and
it.
a good enough of a person and a knight to deserve it. So it'll sit idle for generations with no use. Nobody will touch it. The Lord can't just be like, well, I want it. Not allowed to do that. You can only have it if you're seen as worthy by everybody. And that's just the way it is. Now, there's character in the books. You already heard us talk about Sir Arthur Dane.
Yes, we've
The
seen
Sword of the
show.
Morning.
Sword of the Morning, because he wielded Dawn. Now, he had a sister, Ashara Dane. Now, Ned really liked Ashara. He was crushed on her
Like-
really hard.
A lot. Yeah. Like,
He always wanted to dance with her. Like at Harrenhal, they danced together, and they spent time together, giggle, ha, chuckles. And Ashara dug him to the point where when he brings Jon home, there's a bunch of rumors that it's actually Ashara Dane and his kid, not the handmaiden that he supposedly had it with.
But he specifically leaves from the Tower of Joy to go back to Starfall to return Arthur Dane's sword to their family. to
where
the Danes.
Ashara is.
Yeah.
Now,
Undisclosed amount of time later, he shows up
yeah.
at Winterfell.
He undisclosed amount of time later, he shows up at Winterfell with a baby. That is Jon. Now, the theory goes that Rhaegar and Lyanna have the kid. The kid is actually Dany. Okay? He then takes Dany, goes south to Dorne, gives the kid to Ashara Dane. Ashara Dane has had a kid with Ned, Jon. They do a baby swap, right? He then
kinda like a
returns.
car swap,
he
but-
then returns with Jon because if he shows up
Children.
to Winterfell with a blonde-haired, purple-eyed baby that Dany would be because all Targaryens are blonde-haired, purple-eyed, that would probably raise some questions. So if Jon had more Stark-like features, then it would make sense.
Yeah.
The other thing is that Dany's background doesn't make sense, her childhood. She very vividly remembers living in a very small house with a red door.
With a lemon tree outside of her window.
Yeah, a lemon tree outside of her window, fields, nice, like clean air, not salty or anything like that, like near the sea, just nice, clean air in the country extensively. Like I said, these massive fields, nice warm climate. She would run around barefoot all the time and stuff like that. She very vividly remembers this. Now, from the books, we're only told that she ever lived in Braavos. Braavos, and then they went to Pentos. Braavos is a massive city. It's always dark. It's always raining. It's by the sea. It's cold. Lemon trees can't grow there. And the only royalty that is in Braavos is the Sea Lord of Braavos, who lives in a massive fucking mansion.
It is possible he could have a lemon tree in this cold climate in a greenhouse, but
It's
doesn't
never
meet
mentioned,
all
and it
the-
doesn't meet all the criteria. So
Yeah.
the idea is the only place we know for a fact that lemon trees grow is Dorne. Dorne is the only place, which is where the Danes live. So the theory is Turnia Harrenhal, which is where Lyanna was crowned with the Queen of Love and Beauty, or whatever. The theory goes that Ned put it down on Ashara, or somewhere around that time, put it down on Ashara. She got pregnant with Jon. Around that time, Lyanna hooked up with Rhaegar. She got pregnant. He rides south to get his sister back. Whatever. Gets Dany, drops Dany off, takes Jon, because even Catelyn asks him who Ashara Dane is.
And he's
And he's like, he reacts very poorly. He goes, he like, she says this is the only time she was scared for her life, is because Ned's like, you never fucking mention her again. He put his foot down. He was like, you never fucking talk about her. You never say that word, that name. Where did you even fucking hear that name? Never talk about her again. Like, he loses their mind.
It was the closest you've ever seen to Ned just literally losing his
The
shit.
other thing that's strange is that shortly after Ned leaves, Ashara throws herself into the sea, supposedly, commits suicide. Another weird thing is that the current Lord, which is a little kid because he's the future Lord, I should say. It's being ruled by somebody else because he's with the Brotherhood, is named after Ned. Why would they name their future Lord after Ned if Ned killed Sir Arthur Dayne and that was it? And then was, basically responsible for Ashara throwing herself in the sea because she supposedly threw herself in the sea because Arthur died.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, why would they name him that? And he actually interacts with Arya at a certain point in the books, and Arya's like, no, I've never heard of any of the Danes. Like, I've never heard of your family. I've never heard of Ashara or Sir Arthur or any of that. And he's like, he's shocked. He's shook. He's like, how? I've heard all about your dad, like, nonstop. That's what people talk about. Like,
how the fuck do you not know?
I love your dad. Like, your dad's dope from everything. How do you never heard of us? Like, he's astonished. So that's a common theory, is that Jon isn't R plus L equals J. It's N plus A equals J.
And R plus L equals D.
And it makes more logical sense than R plus L equals J, but the show did R plus L equals J, so it's...
Because that's what everyone thinks, unless you actually read the books and pay attention.
Yeah, so anyway, from here we have the Arya Littlefinger thing, which, once again, I'm not fooled. Like, Arya, they're going to... Like, it's not going to be a thing. Littlefinger is going to end up getting marked up.
Yep.
I mean, I see what he's trying to do. Like, I looked up and I found out what the scroll is saying. It's the scroll that Sansa was forced to write by
season 1.
Back in season 1 to send back to Robb, telling Robb to bend the knee to Cersei.
Yeah.
Or to Joffrey. So it's essentially a scroll that's showing that Sansa is agreeing with Joffrey, agreeing with the Lannisters, and wanting Robb to surrender.
Yeah.
And Littlefinger is making this play in hopes that he can turn
those two against each other. Yeah.
Those two against each other, which will hopefully drive Sansa into his arms, and he can take care of her and marry her and fuck her, and we can
slide into the DMs.
Yes, slide into the DMs as a dragon minge.
For her, it'd be... What would it be? Dire
minge?
Dire...
Do I have to keep going?
Man, she needs to have a kid. Dragon MILF. Because Dany technically had a kid. We missed it, guys. We fucked up. Anyways, so, like, I'm not fooled for a second. Littlefinger's going to get murked up. And it's going to be gratuitous, I'm sure. And Arya, I'm sure, is going to be the one to murk him up.
I mean,
Arya's
that's what the leak says.
With the dagger.
Yeah,
that's what the leak says.
And it's going to be gratuitous, and because that's how they love to do that with Arya scenes. It's like, look how gratuitous her murders are.
And Arya's going to be made to look like Sansa. Guarantee it.
What do you mean?
Like with her little magic stuff.
Technically, she can't do that because technically she's literally wearing the person's face. She'd have to skin Sansa's face off.
She's just gonna kill him. But my thing is like, it's so fucking dumb. And it's gonna be one of those things where it's like, oh, look how badass they are. Oh, they avenged their father's death. It's like, does the writer room have any questioning, or does everybody just go with the first fucking idea that pops in their head? Like, first thing, just like, what should we do this season with Littlefinger? Starks get their revenge. All right, let's do it. Like, does anybody question anything? Does anybody take the fucking time to put any fucking brain cells into this? Be like, hey, guys, maybe not go with the immediate first thing we fucking thought of. Maybe actually think about it. Maybe do something to actually shock people and surprise people. Because if you're being shocked or surprised by this show anymore, you're retarded. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, you need to sort your fucking life out. Like, I haven't been shocked by this show.
Looking at you, Skylar.
Yeah. I haven't been shocked by the show. We were talking about this earlier. When was the last time we were shocked by the show? It was season...
The Red Wedding?
It was like season...
Because I hadn't gotten there in the books yet?
Yeah. But I mean, like, when was the last time they did something that's, like, big? Like, I think the death that really mattered was Tywin's.
Yeah. Maybe Joffrey's, but by that point I'd already read that far in the book, so...
The last thing that really, like, floored me, like I kind of didn't see that coming, was Tommen's suicide.
Yeah, I didn't care about Tommen.
I really didn't care about him, but
Tommen doesn't matter.
he never really mattered. But I
didn't see him noping out the window.
Yeah. But
He noped the fuck out hard, though.
like last season when they blew up the Sept, it's like, I called that before the season even fucking started.
Yeah, we literally, the only thing we didn't call was Tommen.
Yeah, and I still thought he was gonna die. I just didn't say he was gonna throw himself out a fucking window. But his death doesn't affect anything. Like, the only way for you to surprise me on this show at this point is to have Arya, or Dany killed in a very unceremoniously way. Like, you have to be killed by a rando. Like, not even by, like, a badass. Like, they have to be killed by a rando. Like, Arya just gets shot through the throat by somebody practicing in the Winterfell yard. That'll fucking shock me. That'll get me in. That'll make me stop fucking hating on every fucking thing they do. Because I'll be like, at least they had some fucking balls. Like, at least they were just like, fuck it, we really want to surprise people. Oh my god, no, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. It's just that I would be into. But they're not going to do that. No.
All the popular characters have plot armor now.
And the thing is, they're fucking up because next season, if you kill somebody big, I won't care. Yeah. I'm expecting some people to die next season, some big people.
We expected almost everyone to die.
This is your last chance to surprise me with people dying. Like, this is your last chance because next season, all cards are off the table. You only got 6 episodes you need to fill. You can literally kill anybody. It doesn't matter. I can make 6...
The only thing that they could do next season to surprise is literally kill off everyone of importance.
Even that, I would just be
and like... they just have, like, fucking... Dolorous Ed Tullett take the Iron Throne, because why the fuck not?
Dude, if they made Dolorous Ed take the Iron Throne, I would be pretty okay with that. Dolorous Ed has not fucked up once.
No, he hasn't.
He's been at this thing. So from here, we get the traveling to Eastwatch. Like, they arrive at Eastwatch or whatever, and they have their little discussion back and forth. And, you know, Tormund's like, do you really want to go out there? I saw you, Pekka. No god would have a Pekka that small. It's one of my favorite lines. But, like, they have their little back and forth or whatever, and then he's like, you're not the only ones who are trying to do a thing. And then they go into the basements, and the Brotherhood guys are there.
And we get Action Team.
Which I don't understand, why the Brotherhood guys are locked up. This is the wall. Like... They should, like, if you find randos walking towards the wall a couple miles out, you should probably assume, hey, you guys recruits for the Night's Watch? Like, that's how the Night's Watch works. Randos just walk up and they're like, hey, man, I'm here to join.
And they're like, here's your black cloak, here's your black jerkin, here's your black armor. Don't fuck anyone that's not in Molestown, and walk this bitch for...
Or if you are going to fuck somebody not in Molestown, do it before you take your vow real quick.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton, baby. But, like, the other thing is, like...
What it was is, I'm guaranteeing it's a scene that they just, like, we probably should have this in here, but budget restraints. It probably... the Hound caused
paid the principal characters too much.
I mean, it's Tormund. It's not like he's a wildling. It's not like he assumed they were a threat. He would probably roll up and be like, well, fuck y'all. And they'd be like, we were sent by our god to go north of the wall. And he'd be like, you sure?
That's a stupid idea.
Yeah, he'd be like, you sure? Yeah. Do you know what's north of the wall? Army of the Dead. You want to help us defend the wall? No, we need to go north. We're probably going to end up going north at some point, so come on in, have a meal. Like, Tormund's a cool dude. He's not a fucking dick. Tormund would want to tell them about the time he fucked a bear. Like, he'd want to tell them about this dreamy girl he knows named Brienne.
Oh, the Hound wouldn't have any of that.
I would love that, them gathering around or whatever, and like Tormund's laying on his belly with like his fists under his like head, and he's like kicking his feet, and he's like, let me tell you about this girl I like. And then just like, Thoros is like, yeah, I haven't fucked a girl in forever. I was a whore. Let's do this thing. I love whoring around. And Beric Dondarrion would be like, I'm a dead man, but I can still get this dick hard. Let's hear about it, homie. And then the Hound would be like, fuck the king. I'll eat it. Do I get some chicken? Yeah, sure. Fucking talk. And then he'd start talking about this girl, and he'd be like, oh, she's so pretty, and she's such a good fighter, and blah, 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 blah. And everybody would be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And the Hound would be like, sounds like somebody that I know and that I want to kill. And he'd be like, what's her name? And he'd be like, what? And he'd be like, her name, cunt. And he'd be like, Brienne. And he'd be like, oh.
We get the weirdest sitcom moment.
Yeah, it'd be great.
They're missing a lot of golden opportunities with some of these cast pairings.
If you're gonna make the show shit, at least make it enjoyable shit. Make it over the top and ridiculous bullshit. Like really troll people. Like that I would be in for. Like if you were, because their thing is they're trying and they suck and they fail. Don't try anymore. Like just do. Like just do that. Give me that scene. Have Tormund having his hair braided by Thoros because he knows the top knot and he knows a bunch about hair. Like fucking do it.
So what you're saying is HBO needs you badly as a writer.
Yes, because I'll do this and I'll make people lose their minds and be like, this is great. And then I'll write the Blackfire Rebellion's fucking show and it'll be the biggest show that they've ever fucking seen. All right? It'll be incredible. People will cry when Daemon dies. They'll literally cry and they'll shit themselves and then they'll cry some more.
Because they shit
And they'll use, and it'll be good because they have toilet paper already for the crying to dab their tears. Anyways, so here from here they all agree. They all hate each other and they all fucking want to kill each other, but then they agree, greater good, let's go north. And then they walk
And
out.
Ball
north.
Fondlers heads north.
Now here's my thing. I know the show is trying to trick me into being excited about this. I know it. This is a cheap fucking gimmick. All right? You're just trying to get people to be like, oh, it's like the A-Team of Westeros, motherfucker. This is incredible.
All Fondlers.
What? Oh, my God. This is like if Gara and Rockley and Shikamaru and fucking Jiraiya all teamed up in Naruto and they rolled on some motherfuckers. This is dope, dog. This is the dream team, baby.
Westerosi Magnificent Seven, y'all.
Like, I know that the show's doing that.
Yeah.
But I like most of these characters enough that I'm letting myself be excited. I'm letting myself.
Even though you know you're going to be really upset in an episode or two.
I know I'm going to be disappointed next episode when Gendry dies. I know it. But I'm letting myself be okay with this. I'm letting myself be excited because I realized over the past several days I'm a miserable fuck that doesn't like anything anymore. So I'm letting myself enjoy
realize you're
this.
a hipster?
Nah, well the thing is I'm not even a hipster because I'm not even hating anything ironically. I just don't like anything. Like it's not like I like, oh dude, I love riding unicycles because I'm a fucking hipster. I don't like anything anymore. I hate everything. I don't like food. Like food is all shit. Like people like food I normally love. I'm just like, I'll fucking eat this because I need sustenance to survive. Like, you know what I mean? And then like
become a curmudgeon.
shows I hate, and then all music I hate now. Childish Gambino's most recent album fucking sucked. Logic's most recent album fucking sucked. Deadmau5 was okay.
Deadmau5 took a little while. It grew.
Yeah, it grew on me eventually, but then it was still like half the songs I'm into, and then half the songs it's like I won't skip them if I'm playing it because I'm lazy piece of shit. But like I just hate everything now. Every show I used to like, every movie I'm like, I'm like, fuck, I don't even care. Like. So I'm letting myself be excited about this, even though I know it's dumb.
Are you just gonna let the lizard
And it's
brain
gonna
take
let me
over
down.
for a little bit? Let you be happy for once.
Fine. I'll never be happy.
Like the generic
Not until we have the grotto.
Literally, I could have a $400 million in my bank account right now, and I wouldn't be happy. I'd find something to hate and bitch about.
This podcast got dark.
It's all of our current states of being,
It's
really.
the mental state of this 23-year-old. So yeah, they walk out, and I'm letting myself be excited.
Cool.
Although, let's get into it. Who's dying?
Everyone except for John and maybe the Hound.
See, these were my original thoughts
I think
as well.
Jon, Jorah, and Gendry are going to make it.
I think Jon.
Is absolutely going to make it.
John's definitely going to make it. I'm revising what I said earlier because I was talking to you about this.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Hound's going to make it. Because if they kill the Hound now, he doesn't get to reunite with Arya or Brienne. They wouldn't skip over both those opportunities.
True.
And then he also gets to reunite with the lords in the south, like Cersei and stuff like that. And they'll be like, the fucking coward. And the Mountain. Like, the Hound's got some shit going down. I don't think they'll skip over that.
Yeah, and here's the thing. As much as they've been doing fan servicey stuff, they're going to do a Clegane Bowl, so they need the Hound alive.
I think that Barrick's going to survive now. Because Barrick is the only other person who's died and been to the other side than Jon. And unless they have that discussion next episode, they're not going to not have that discussion. Jorah, I think, needs to be alive.
Yep. Well, he's a Zora High, so.
If they killed Jorah, I would be strongly surprised. That would actually surprise me. It's not surprising enough that I'd be like, oh shit, I'm in. But it's surprising enough that I'd be like, oh shit. Gendry, I feel Gendry's fucking dead.
I don't think
Which
Gendry's
is upsetting to me. Like, I think Gendry might die, and then Thoros, I feel, is definitely fucking.
No, Thoros is 100%.
Thoros is guaranteed dead. Tormund, I want to say, is guaranteed dead.
Well, here's the thing that I find interesting about Tormund. I thought Tormund was going to die too, but from the little snippet we got, it looked like when they're running away from the big horde, it looks like they're running towards the gates of Eastwatch. Like going into the tunnel for Eastwatch. And Tormund's still there. So unless he gets murked up last minute, which is also possible.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm
He
thinking...
does the whole "go guys, I'll protect us" deal thing just to like hold them
No,
off.
that's really out of character for
I
Tormund.
definitely think that Thoros is going to die. One of my favorite moments, though,
I
was
honestly,
when...
I think the only person there that Tormund might sacrifice himself for would be Jon.
Jon, yeah.
Absolutely the only person there.
I do like the shot that they did whenever they were leaving, when they like start on Jon and then they work their way back or whatever. And the last two people are Thoros and the Hound, and Thoros has a thing of wine and he opens it up and he's like, and then he starts drinking on it. Like, I love that, dude. I don't know why. Just that little moment where he's just like they're getting ready for like this big fucking badass moment or whatever, and Thoros is staying true to character, baby. He's just like, I haven't had wine in like 3 days. They've locked me up. I got the shakes.
Starting to rust.
Chugging this shit, dude. You know what I mean? I also liked the pairings that they did, because they did Jon, and they did Mormont and Tormont, which, I mean, obviously there's heads button there because, you know, Lord Commander hunted the wildlings hunted the Night's Watch, right? And then they had Gendry and Beric, which is, once again, because Beric sold him or whatever, so there's things there, you know what I mean? And then they had Thoros and the Hound, and, I mean, they're not,
Religion versus atheism.
yeah, kind of, like, that was my immediate thought, but they're kind of buddies now, I guess.
As good of a friends as you can get with
the Hound.
With the Hound, yeah. But yeah, so my thoughts right now is I'm kind of up in the air because, I mean, if you listen back to our predictions for the beginning of this season, I thought literally everybody that went north was going to die. I thought they were going to have 12 names, though, named people. Now that they have people that aren't named, I'm assuming and that Ghost isn't with them, I'm assuming they're not doing the Last Hero arc. So now I'm reevaluating of what story significance do people play. I can't really see Jorah's significance in the story anymore, other than being Dany's advisor.
Here's what I think. How long does it take for someone to turn white?
They have to be killed, and then they can be almost immediately raised.
Yeah.
From what we've seen.
I think Jorah dies, and they bring him back as a white to prove it.
Maybe.
I don't think so.
Because that is going to be, for one thing, not only is that going to prove...
I don't think they're actually going to get the white. I am pretty confident all the shit that's going to go down kind of puts a stop on that plan.
I think they will.
But then I think the whole Dany showing up thing sways Dany enough.
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to go into brief spoilers based off of leaks.
Yeah.
So
Reeks.
So we know that things are going to go badly.
Yeah.
Do you care about this at all?
I've read a fair bit.
Okay,
of
so
leaks,
you know.
But
So-
I would need a refresher on this.
So we know for a fact.
Well, I've got the season episode 6 and episode 7 spoiler right here in front of me.
So
right now.
we know for a fact then.
This is your last fucking shot, people. If you listen
Yeah,
past
you-
this,
Oh,
it's
so
on
is this
me.
this is
This
not
is
the
going
leak
in.
from back in October. This is a
No, this is the leak from way back in the day, 9 months ago, or however long it's
okay.
been.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
But the thing is, it's
It's
100%
so accurate.
accurate.
They've used exact dialogue from the leak.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
before the season.
This is 100. Like, the thing is that it kind of sucks because everything's already been spoiled. I haven't read it since it came out, though, so I'm pretty rusty on things. I just know the big picture stuff,
Yeah.
which was the big thing that stood out was the fucking Dany fucking thing, where she flies north of the wall when they're getting assaulted, and she starts fucking shit up with her dragons, and then one of her dragons gets killed. It's Viserys, right? Viserion.
Jon is almost killed, but Cold Hand / Benjen arrives and sends Jon off with his horse while continuing to fight the Horde. Jon watches Benjen swarmed by the undead as he rides half dead to safety.
I assume Benjamin would be showing.
Who else does it list is going to die? Does it say?
Thoros absolutely dies, killed by polar bear.
Okay.
That's literally all they mentioned.
Yeah, it's a white polar bear. Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking it was like a mundane polar bear.
Dude, that would have me in. He's just asleep, and Polar Bear just walks away. What I fucking eats him.
What I'd like is if
They all wake up. It's just a fucking stuffed ass polar bear just laying there and throws the spot in the camp.
I would love it if it was because then Tormount fucks it, Tormount fucks it, and then they bring the white polar bear back, and then Brienne starts having flashbacks to when she was almost killed by a fucking polar bear, well, a bear, and she's like, oh god, the bear, the maiden fair.
But yeah, let's see here. Viserion is killed and raised as the Night King's mount.
Yep.
Jon offers to lay down his King of the North title if Dany helps with the fucking war with the White Walkers.
Okay.
That is the big bit there.
Okay.
We're gonna have dragon jousting.
And that's next episode?
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, they do not
That's the
mention
most
anyone else dying.
That's the thing that pisses me off most, though, is like the fucking resurrection of the dragon.
Yeah, they don't mention anyone else dying specifically by name. It could still happen. It's not in the leak.
Okay.
And that is basically, it doesn't mention them actually getting a white either.
Okay.
So
I mean, I'm assuming they're gonna get the white.
Yeah.
That's my assumption.
And you may be upset about them raising the dragon, but here's the thing. It takes Dany down a notch, and like I said, I feel she's been a bit too OP for a bit.
But it's the most fan servicey fucking thing on the planet to have her swoop in last minute and save the day.
Well, okay,
but then
her swooping in to
fucking
save the
have
day is one thing. but-
Goddamn dragon.
But honestly, having the Night's King have a dragon on their side, that makes the situation even that much more dire.
The thing is, this isn't how ice dragons are a thing. Like in this world, ice dragons exist, and they're bigger than fire dragons. Like they're
Well, here's
just
the
generally
thing.
bigger.
They never established any of that shit, and they're not just going to pull it out of their ass now. If you think
They don't establish shit. They suck. They never established half these fucking characters enough for me to care about them. Boom! Shots fired. Come at me, bruh. Nah, but like I know that I know their reasons for doing it. I know the reason they're doing it is because fucking people are gonna cream their goddamn jeans over it. They're gonna be like, oh my god, there's an ice dragon. He's got a dragon. Oh my god. Oh.
so here's the thing: he's not even an ice dragon. He just breathes blue flames.
There you go. That's even worse.
Yeah, they're not even going the ice dragon route. They just change his color a little bit, make him undead. Fuck it.
If I remember correctly, doesn't season 7 close? If I remember this correctly, it closes with this dragon flying to the wall, melting a chunk of the wall out, and then the walkers run through and he flies through with the dragon.
Yep.
Right?
After Jon and Dany have sex on a boat.
Yeah. Those walls, the wall cracks open right when he gets in her walls, you know what I'm saying? Penetration. And he's white.
First through
There's
the breach.
multiple levels there. He's definitely not first through that breach, buddy.
looks like
Yes! High five me, Anthony. Yeah.
It looks like you didn't need 10 good men for this one.
He didn't.
Especially if he impregnates the bitch.
There's at least 10 good men in that one, though.
Yeah.
So
terrible.
with episode 7, beyond that little ending bit there, anything of major import from 7?
Apparently, I am wrong. Sansa sentences Littlefinger to death towards the beginning,
Victory.
which Arya kills him.
Victory.
Cersei awakes in a bed soaked with blood. General consensus is that she miscarries.
Oh man.
Sort of victory. Not
So-
She's
really.
not gonna die. That's upsetting.
So there wasn't a lie. Okay.
Sam and Bran figure out Jon's heritage. He's apparently legitimized as a legitimized Targaryen named Aegon, and then that's literally all of it.
Which I have a theory about that. Let me go into this real quick. So I find it
We
interesting.
talked about this earlier.
Yeah, at work. So I find it interesting. I was thinking the other day. John's name, I remember that from the leak, that his name is Aegon Targaryen. That's his legal name. There's already an Aegon Targaryen in the books.
Of the same generation, too.
Of the same generation. Aegon Targaryen is the kid that is currently conquering the Seven Kingdoms. He's the guy that's going on with
He's Rhaegar's first
John
actual
Connington.
son.
And he's supposedly Rhaegar's first actual son. Is
With Aegon
Aegon
Martell.
Targaryen. Now, if
Aegon the Fifth.
R plus L does equal J, right? Let's say. R plus L does equal J. Why would Rhaegar name his son, who is still alive at the time, Aegon, and then name his new son Aegon? That's weird even by Targaryen standards. There's never been multiples of the same name in the same generation. in 300 years.
Yeah.
So, my thought is the reason his name is Aegon in the show is because Aegon in the books is actually important. Even though they're not doing him as a character, I'm thinking they're taking his plot lines, splitting it up, giving them to Jon and Dany, and then if these are supposed to end in the same place, say Aegon in the books does sit on the Iron Throne, well, if you have Jon sit the Iron Throne and his name is Aegon, then Aegon Targaryen is still sitting the Iron Throne, isn't it? Because there's no way Jon is named Aegon in the books.
No possible.
He's not going to be named. He's probably going to be named, I want to say there was something about him being named Jaehaerys.
Probably.
I've seen some people saying things like that online. Yeah.
So that's my theory, is that Aegon has to be important in the books because why else would they name Jon Aegon when Rhaegar already had a kid named Aegon?
And they've actually, correct me if I'm wrong, they established Rhaegar's kids' names in the show.
They did because Oberyn.
Yeah, yeah.
Oberyn has established their names as Aegon and whatever the fuck the girl's name is. No one cares about the girl. She doesn't matter. She's dead for sure. But like, yeah. So that's my thought. That's my last thing that I wanted to cover real quick. Is that I find that extremely strange.
And I mean, they have mushed together character from the book's plot lines for the show before.
Yeah.
So
Multiple
this
times.
would not be out of the norm.
No.
Exactly.
So I just thought of something funny. Does it ever explain why he's named Jon Snow? Is it just a name that was given to him?
I mean, Snow is
Jon's
because he's a bastard of the
Jon
North.
is his given name, and all bastards born in the North are last name Snow.
Oh, okay.
All the bastards born in the South are Sand.
Because I was thinking it'd be funny, like, he's just carrying this baby back and like, fuck, I gotta think of what am I gonna name him?
And then Jon is
John's
Jon.
like the most generic name. He's like, Jon,
Jon
got
is
it. Okay.
because-
Fuck. Snow, it's
Well,
everywhere.
Jon is because Jon Arryn, which is the guy who was fostering him and Robert Baratheon at the time, who received a message from the Mad King that said, kill them both and bring me their heads. And Jon said, no, rallied the Knights of the Vale to protect them. And then, if you notice, Robb is his next kid, and Robb is named after Rob Baratheon.
Bran is named after all
first
the
kid,
other
I should say.
Brandons.
And then Bran is named after his brother and many other Brandons. Rickon is, once again, a Stark family name, Rickon. And then...
Rickon, I think, was actually Ned's dad.
Yeah. And then you have Sansa and Arya, which I don't think comes from anything particularly. But yeah,
Those actually might be Tully names, honestly.
it's possible. I don't
But
really know much about the
Snow is
history.
totally a northern bastard name because Ramsay is initially introduced as Ramsay Snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every kingdom has its own thing. So it's Snow for there. It's waters
for the Riverlands.
No, it's rivers for the Riverland.
Oh,
Waters
yeah.
is for King's Landing.
The Kingslands, yeah.
Yeah, Kingslands. Then you have
Storm
for the Stormlands. Stone.
Blackfire for the Targaryens. Isn't it?
Blackfire for the Targaryens, yeah. Stone for the Vale.
Yep.
Varen. Then you have hills for the Westerlands.
Yep.
Then you have
So they're just named after whatever's just most abundant around them. pretty much.
flowers for the
The Reach.
and then you have
Sand
sand,
for
for
the
the Dorne. And
Yeah.
then what is the Iron Islands? Salt?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just basically it's all just based around that. But anyways, guys, I think that about wraps it up. Anything else anybody wants to say?
Nope. We've been recording for quite a
Yeah,
while.
I know, right? It's hot in this room.
It is.
Guys, I do want to thank you for listening. This has been a pretty long episode, but we've gotten pretty in detail about stuff. Maybe taught you something that you might not know about Game of Thrones and the history of Game of Thrones, some theories.
We did kind of roll two kinds of episode into one here.
We did. Let us know if you like this
Three,
format.
actually.
Yeah, let us know if you actually like this format better. It would be longer, but some people don't mind longer shit. I actually prefer really long podcasts to listen to at work. So, do want to thank you for listening. We are part of Loud Table Productions Podcast Network. We create podcasts 5 times a week. We do all kinds of shit. So go listen to the other podcasts on the network. You can follow us on, you can email us, tell us what you feel about this episode and whatnot at loudtableproductions@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, loudtableprod, P-R-O-D, loudtable_productions on Instagram. We have a subreddit. We have a iTunes. We have a YouTube. Go check all that shit out. Rate us, subscribe, comment, do all the things. You can follow us individually on Twitter. I'm at Gadryros. That's GADRYROSS.
And I'm at Chris_Bogard.
I'm at Anthony Hagen 13.
And I am at the Wolf Among Us. That's Wolf with an E.
Yeah, I think that about wraps up, guys. Until next time, I need a sign-off phrase.
All right. Peace.
See ya.
I'm so fucking money, baby. Woo!